the sensible surely is to abort the starts.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to F1 Watchalongs, and today we're at Web Brazil here in Interlagos. Obviously not in Interlagos real life, but still. And Stroll has actually stopped at a formation lap. I've been switching between channels because Aston Villa are playing, so keep an eye on them. But the aborted start, another formation lap. That's not good. Then we go by another 3 minutes.
We're going to go round for one more formation lap, and this will count as one of the 71 racing laps. And it's not an aborted start, and we're going to give you another 5-10 minutes on the grid. Ted Kravis, what a dramatic day already.
Lance Stroll doing Lance Stroll things, I say.
It's a real challenge for the mechanics to get back to the grid and cool the cars. So the best course of option for the FIA is actually for the safety car to lead them around, and effectively a safety car starts.
Stroll's beast that car.
Cool, because there's not a one mechanic that can make it back under a minute and a half now, Crofty. They're all back.
Double yellows.
Next to me. So the best course of option would be safety car start, safety car lead them round until Stroll's car is recovered, and then it can let them go. Right, you can see the double waved yellows down at that corner. But what's happened here, Career Channel, is that half of the field seems to have remained, or a third of the field have remained where they are.
What's everyone doing?
So Valtteri Bottas, now Pierre Gasly, Nico Hulkenberg, and Ollie Behrman, I should say, think, well, we ought to get going here and join the rest of the pack, while others are just stationary, including Max
Verstappen stationary. What's going on here?
About aborted start, meaning get the mechanics and everybody back on the grid versus the next formation lap.
No, we're all going.
Okay. It's not.
Yeah, all sorts of procedures have been breached here, Max. We're looking into it. Should not have started.
Yeah, you have to wait for a green light.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Wait for a green light.
The aborted start versus go do an extra formation lap. Well, notice is coming around, but I can see Crofty just in race control. Stroll's car has now been dragged out of the gravel. It's still in the runoff area.
But the thing is, you can't have those cars down to Oscar Piastri that made the initial move off the grid sitting there for what's going to be the best part of a minute, whilst Franco Colapinto leads the back markers round to the grid.
There's big confusion in Interlagos
at the moment.
Josh Colapinto.
To me, and this is where Franco Colapinto pulls into the wrong grid spot. I'm not.
Yeah, he pulled into the wrong one.
Inexperienced driver. He should have been lining up with Franco Colapinto in 16th place.
Yeah, he should have. They went 14th.
A bit further forward, but that isn't his grid spot.
No, they're all getting that round now.
One behind Ollie Behrman, which is where he stopped in the first place.
Yeah.
Surely for me, if you just abandon any form of start now for the next 10 minutes or so, you can sort out the order. Bernie Collins.
Yeah, so we're just hearing on team radio, they're getting
Move
some
for Bernie
information
Collins.
from the
Stroll's car is cleared.
You're
just going now.
You
want to get that track out of the way, unless you have some, in case someone spins off and yeah.
What that does, all
that's what I'm saying. Get the track out of the way.
Out onto the grid now. They'll have up until 5 minutes to change the tyres. They'll be trying to wrap these up, probably put on a hot set of intermediates. And yeah, a bit of a fuss to go through about which position everyone was in on the grid there. But back to the formation start now, 2 gaps in the grid.
Yeah, this mess was caused from the front. We're just trying to unpick it.
So the question
he did the right thing.
Question I need to ask is, should Lando
they all getting on?
Have just stayed where he was?
Yeah, because as
this
Max
is great.
said, there should have been a green
Damn
light.
it, start aborted.
The orange light's flashing. Generally, if you're going to go do an extra formation lap, you get the orange flashing and the green light.
Oh, great, 3-1 Tottenham.
Whereas in an aborted start, the procedure, as Bernie just highlighted, is don't go anywhere. We're going back to effectively the 10-minute before the start grid procedure. But it wasn't just Norris who went. A whole load of other cars
That's
went.
half a grid.
Arguing, saying, "Oh, we just follow the car in front,"
is not an argument.
It's not an argument.
Breaking the rules.
I think the difference between Crofty is terminology. Aborted start, we often say aborted start, extra formation lap. That's what's often the
Start at 12:47.
This
Go away 10 minutes now. I could have just waited there. I didn't know what was going on, so.
Guess what? Lando Norris has been noted by the race director.
Don't blame Lando for it.
Procedure infringements.
Yeah, which explains the tone of the radio messages from GP to Max there. I have to admit, when I saw aborted start, I thought
Nice means the rain's going to come in.
anywhere. Mechanics go back to the grid, and I was a little bit surprised to see them pull away.
More chance of the rain coming a lot more quickly towards the start of this race, which should come now for a next formation lap at 12:47.
Yeah, just checking with radars.
We've had one lap of this race. We're going to have at least one more formation lap.
Should make it 69 lap race.
Under green flag conditions.
That's what I'm guessing.
Or anything else.
I mean, why blame Lando for it when everyone else went with him?
Norris the call to move off the grid because is that
That's
something
a
the driver
problem.
would have done himself?
Why McLaren gave Lando the call?
Himself, or would it be instructed by the pit wall? What would have been the procedure at Aston Martin, Bernie?
Well, the procedure changes year on year with these things.
Let's just look through it here. Sorry, Bernie. It's just
There was no green light.
There's no green light. It said aborted start, and there was no green light. Sorry, Bernie. Pick up.
So often at that point, what you'll see where we've seen aborted start up there in text, you'll see extra formation lap is what they should have seen. At that
I don't
point,
really know
you
what
get
this
the lights
all is
green,
about.
like you say. In this one, I've just quickly went through the regs. So aborted start does say wait for further update. Now, the rules changed a few years ago that all of the engineers can now speak to the drivers through those laps, through the laps to grid, through the formation.
Now it's under investigation.
therefore
Why
give them
blame Lando for it? Can the FIA just
It
go
is-
away,
I'm not
please?
going through the video comments, I will go through it
We caused
shortly.
enough drama
But it
today
is
with the
always
whole
a little
Stroll
bit
red
of
flag
a
thing, which
they
I'll
can
say that.
be
I'll say that
drivers.
honestly. They should
We
have
used to
red
end up
flagged it
with a
earlier.
top-down version of
Because
the
Stroll's
regs,
car
like a
was
flowchart.
in a dangerous
If this
position and
happens, what
someone
happens
could have went
next?
into
If
it.
this happens, what should you
Like
do?
a aquaplane
What's
and
the
went into
procedure
it.
for the driver? So lots and lots of
I don't know why
sheets to
they
go
blame
through,
Lando for
But
this.
yes, like you say,
Because
the
everyone
driver
else,
should be
except the
thinking,
back few,
if
went
there's
with
no
him.
green light, should go ahead.
Absolutely. The driver needs to be focusing on what they need to do for the launch. At that stage, he's done. You know, he
I think they
needs to
killed
be
Tripping
focusing
Lando,
on
that's what I think.
What his perfect start.
Because when you usually see it, you usually go. Because I've seen loads of times where, obviously, the aborted start, you go, abandoned start, you go for a second formation lap.
Lando Norris with the FIA stewards for a starting procedure infringement. Question is, what penalty, if any, does Lando Norris get if they find him guilty?
So
They surely can't. Because everyone else is with him. Except obviously Stroll, because yeah, he just actually give Lance Stroll a penalty. He's doing Lance Stroll things.
Keep talking, because I might be able to find out the answer here to what penalty he might be able to get.
All right, you look up the rules. I will look at those clouds hovering.
Yeah, get Lance Stroll. Give Lance Stroll a grip penalty for Vegas because he's doing Lance Stroll things like always.
There is Charles Leclerc. I guess.
Yeah, I think anyone watches Occupy America, the F1 YouTuber, you know who you know what he calls Lance Stroll. That's all I call Lance Stroll right now.
Lando went, and the others followed suit.
Lando was the first car, and in a way will take the burden of responsibility, I think, a little bit for having moved off the grid. Now, a lot of drivers waited, you know, like we seen Verstappen made it absolutely clear that his intention was not to go until pushed a little bit from the pit wall to do it. So
Don't know this stuff still. There's Hamilton, obviously drove Senna's iconic 1990 car earlier.
With what intention.
I hope Hamilton can do well today.
There's an awful lot of penalties and rules and regs for which drivers can be given penalties, and I can't see on my penalty point guidelines for the stewards what the penalty
still in
is
pit lane.
for a starting procedure infringement when a driver moves off the line when it says aborted start before a green light.
I have to say, this feels unprecedented to me.
It does.
I can't remember.
They can't. They're surely going to give him a penalty for
We've
that.
already discussed many times this weekend that my memory is pretty shocking. So.
Obviously, the race is on earlier because of threat of rain at 2 o'clock Brazil time in Sao Paulo.
The driver on board has driven off.
As
That's
Liam Lawson, yeah, Liam Lawson.
That's the same as a
Just Tsunoda qualified third.
Well, yes, Sergio Perez got that 5 seconds for being out of place, and that was a starting procedure infringement, wasn't it? A starting grid infringement. I would imagine the 5 seconds is about what the stewards would give.
5 seconds not too bad though, because if he gets the lead, then it won't really matter. There's
Clearly,
Oscar Pastry.
went too quickly, but others follow them as well. So do you penalise everybody, or just
I say probably do that.
And
I'll penalise everybody, but I'd make a terrible steward, so I wouldn't even know what to do.
The wording should have said abandoned start. So
I actually want to change my answer on that, and it does in the reg say aborted start.
Okay,
It does say
there you
aborted start.
all right, okay, so that's no defense there. So yeah, I guess.
I don't really know.
Do other people get done? We'll see.
I think
Because
other
ultimately,
people get done as well.
It's the odd speeding camera violation, isn't it? If you get caught speeding doing 80 in a 70, then just because
You get done.
you know,
Someone else has done it.
3 cars in front of you also did it. It doesn't mean you get away with it.
Yeah, it doesn't mean get
Grab it, it's down to
away
you.
with it.
So let me tell you what's going on down the pits. All the mechanics.
But if I
having
tell you
run
one
down
is,
to
then
the
maybe one of
grid
them
to
goes,
get
then
the
you're
cars
done.
cool,
Really.
to change tyres if they needed to, and to top up anything else that they needed to, have done that. They're all now pouring back from there. So if the mechanics hadn't had a
There's
long enough
Lando.
day, Crofty, out of bed at 4 a.m., then it's even worse for them now. But it looks like we're getting towards the end of that. Carlos Sainz, by the way, is still at the end of the pit lane. His intermediate tyres wrapped up in some tyre blankets. But yeah, I've got to say, I mean, if Checo Perez was in
Stupid
Mexico as
bottle
5
there.
seconds penalty, it's kind of worse if you
I'll
run
just
a
fix
red
that.
light, isn't it? So I'm kind of thinking
Still
it's,
3-1 Tottenham.
lucky
I know you
to
guys
go
don't
away
care about
with
football,
5
but I'm just
penalties,
keeping an eye
the
on it.
naughty boys who ran
Because
the red
obviously, I'm a bit of a fan.
technically,
Anyone
they
who's
had
likes
colour
football,
infringement on
subscribe to Gen Sonic
I know what
Plus
you're saying.
because that's my account for football and
We'll keep
darts.
you posted,
Like stuff
ladies and
outside of
gentlemen.
motorsport.
Yet another reason to add to my list of.
I might as well be
not wanting
posting
to
loads
be a
of
student.
FC25 and
Yeah, so
football content. I might even post a bit of Fortnite on there, but I'm not so sure
So
yet.
the fans still wait patiently.
But I might
and
post
the
Fortnite
next
on
formation
this
lap will
if I
start
do it on my own.
in 2.5 minutes' time.
2.5 minutes till we get going again.
Fans here, they turn up, rain or shine. It doesn't dampen their spirit.
Yeah, it doesn't dampen the
They-
Brazilian fan
and
spirit.
Look at all those bits of yellow all through that. Those are still
Yeah,
the Ayrton Senna fans. So much merch, Crofty. As I walk through
there's so much,
the fan
so
area,
much
it's the-
reminiscent of
Senna's
Senna
still outselling
at Brazil
all
because
the
he
other
made
drivers here.
F1 in this part of the world, not country.
P17. Worth pointing out that he will pass Michael Schumacher's record today of 896
Yeah,
consecutive days
he will.
in the lead of a drivers' championship.
That's what
Whatever
Max
happens in the
Verstappen
race,
will
he'll still be
do.
in the lead. Come the end of it, that is a phenomenal achievement to be at the top.
Yeah, he's been the
of
championship
table
leader
for that long
since
and to keep
the
that
2022
focus for
Spanish
such a
Grand
long
Prix.
time as well. I would imagine he would like to have gone into surpassing that record in a much better grid spot.
Yeah, he probably would.
But
He probably
such is
would
life.
prefer it in a
That's
much
the
better
way
grid
it's all
spot.
turned out for him today.
He did the donkey work at the start of the season, doesn't it? You know, it kind of feels a bit like Jenson Button's championship in 2009.
Yeah, 2009. A lot of people have said that.
Yeah,
Where
and
Button
he sort of did the donkey work
had a
early
big
and then
lead, won like 6 out of the 7 races, and then just fell apart. And then Braun, his car performance dropped, and yeah, it nearly all went to rubbish for Braun, but they held on.
It shows just
That's what's happening with Max this year, I believe. With I'm guessing with everything that's happened this year.
Did a brilliant job.
Yeah, but I hear engines getting fired up now.
It's been really tough for them since then.
Looks like this could be the real start of the Grand Prix.
Coming to sprint races, including yesterday.
Yeah, we're going.
1 minute to go. 13 points from Max Verstappen, I should say, ahead of Lando Norris, who's under investigation then by the stewards. And we'll have to leave them around on an extra formation lap once again. And we've already lost Alex Albon from this race.
I've already lost Albon because
tried their hardest to fix that
because that big crash earlier.
And they got Lance Stroll's car and Aston Martin fixed and ready.
But then he beached it. Typical Lance Stroll.
Down at turn 4, he went out onto the runoff area.
They replaced him already, really, Aston Martin.
In the gravel.
Although
So
I don't think they will.
for Lance Stroll,
As you used to know that qualified third is best qualifying in Formula
I
1.
hope he buys his mechanics a large drink and some dinner tonight, because they've done an awful lot of work preparing that car, only to see it drive off and do 3 corners.
And it means, of course, he didn't start, so we'll remain tied with Jacques Villeneuve for the record amount of race starts by a Canadian driver. That record is not his. Until we go to Las Vegas, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, he should have made his record though, because
promises to be an absolute thriller once
again. Lance Stroll is a really bad driver on this grid.
Under the lights of Las Vegas, and see what we've got there.
Yeah, 2 weeks time. Or is it 3 weeks?
For a formation,
I think it's
let's see if
3
stay on
weeks.
the track this time.
Yeah,
Let's see if
3
we can
weeks.
start underway here.
Yeah, well, look at Lando there. You see the tyre tracks, the wheel tracks on there, just zigzagging.
Let me check the calendar again. I'm pretty sure it's 3 weeks to Las Vegas.
Hamilton and Verstappen going up. Norris is already at turn 6 at this stage.
Let me check.
What's the weather doing?
Yeah, 3 weeks until Vegas. So when we live watch on to that, because yeah, I'm not getting up at like 6 in the morning to watch that.
Crowd that's just come. It's going to hit the last bit of the track, 12, 13, 14 first. It was looking like it was 15 minutes away. Now suddenly it looks right on top of us.
Yeah, it does. But rain.
And you could get the perspective of Junsao if you wish.
It's spinning with rain. That's what Lando's saying.
Edging towards that.
I think Lando wants to get on with this.
You can get the perspective from a driver's view. If you go to our onboard channel, all the onboards and team.
This has everything to be a crazy race.
Sky Sports.
And we're finally getting underway.
And if you're watching on Sky Glass, Sky Stream, or Sky Q, you can use your interactive button on your remote control.
Previous winners: Hamilton 2, Verstappen 2, Russell 1. That's all. That's the last 5 winners in Brazil. Obviously, Hamilton's stunning win in 2021 from last to first, basically from sprint into Grand Prix.
It's still good enough to go standing start, which is what we all want to see.
And yes, the highlight from the last lap in 2023 where we had Alonso and Perez going at it. It's shame Alonso's not there anymore this season. At the start of the season he was there, but ever since after China, he's gone way off for him and Aston Martin.
Through the wheel rim and into the inside bulk of the tyre, so there'll be lots of stop starts as well, and a few burnouts to get temperature into the rear.
I think ever since then, Aston Martin have been like the 6th best team on the grid in terms of car.
5th pole at the last 7 Grand Prix. Fred Vasseur smiling.
Yeah, 5th pole in the last 7 for Lando. And that's his 7th pole this year, which put him 1 behind equally Max Verstappen this year for most poles this season. Obviously, most poles this single year goes to Sebastian Vettel with 15, that happened 13 years ago in 2011. Here we go.
As we look then for car 22, 3rd on the grid.
Yuki Tsunoda. 8 years ago, car 22 was Jenson Button. Now it's Yuki Tsunoda. Here we go.
Kobayashi, there's the green flag. And we are ready to go here.
Finally.
For the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. It's lights out, away we go. Lando Norris and George Russell edging them towards the first corner. And Russell's made a good start. And George
Russell will lead.
Takes the lead of the race from Lando Norris. Esteban Ocon on the inside.
Ocon on the inside with 2 RBs. Lawson tried to swoop him round.
And Charles Leclerc gets past the RB. And that's going to give encouragement to Alonso. And Oscar
Yeah, Will. There's Verstappen around the outside.
Piastri's getting bumped a little bit by the RB, but he's trying to make the move. Under braking. Fernando Alonso's going to try and steam down the inside. Fernando Alonso does steam down the inside.
Alonso's got it.
Oscar Piastri. This is
Verstappen thing made a few places.
Then gets squeezed by the RB. Piastri gets the place back again.
Brilliant team racing.
Brilliant racing. Yeah, Verstappen behind Hamilton.
Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. Coffee together as Hamilton now. Looks around the outside of Gasly. Up into 10th and 11th for those two.
Yeah, I guess Verstappen or Hamilton.
Fernando, then goes Lewis Hamilton with Max Verstappen just behind.
So Russell and Norris set off.
Ensuing there, but out in front, George Russell leads Lando Norris, leads Yuki Tsunoda and Esteban Ocon, Charles Leclerc, making
Russell 1.5 the lead.
Hanging on to 6th place.
There goes Bottas. Oh, Perez has spun.
Sergio Perez spinning round, and has he managed
He
to
has.
get back on the track? Yes. Well done, Sergio Perez.
Yeah, well done, Checo. 70-yard race actually.
Very easily.
Yeah, it's not.
Streaking away there.
Verstappen's 11th.
Up in the front, over a second now in between them. Liam Lawson got a bit greedy, trying to get around the outside of Tsunoda.
He kind of was.
Check himself and lost to the Ferrari or Charles Leclerc.
Here comes Max Verstappen into the first corner. He goes. And
Verstappen up to 10th.
And up into 10th place. Verstappen started 17th on the grid. He's made up 7 places by the first corner on lap 2.
Good move from Max. He's now at points after 2 laps.
It was just so easy.
Gas should be giving orders from the McLaren thing to back up Max.
George Russell.
Lock up for Max.
Lando Norris a little tentative off the line. And the Mercedes out in front by over a second already. Yuki Tsunoda holding off.
He's still 3 on something.
Charles Leclerc, Liam Lawson under pressure.
On board with Hamilton.
And we're on board now with Lewis Hamilton, struggling for grip, struggling for handling, and with Max Verstappen now ahead of him in the points.
Verstappen hit the points.
No point in the qualifying session earlier in these conditions and Lewis looked comfortable with the car. That's carried on. His teammate up at the front though.
Norris in the lead. Not Norris at the lead. Russell in the lead. Verstappen's 8 seconds behind Lando.
Nearly 2 seconds.
Not a long way to go in what will be a 70-lap race, not 71 because we had an extra formation lap. And George Russell leads it on the track where he gained his first Formula One victory. And you can see the spray from behind that Mercedes that Lando Norris was driving into until he moved out to the right-hand side.
Tsunoda's still third. Of course, I remember his first podium in Formula One.
There goes Fernando Alonso ahead of Gasly. Max Verstappen gaining, but not a huge amount on Pierre Gasly.
Oh, there's 2 Haas cars.
Under pressure from his teammate Nico Hulkenberg. The 2 Hasses running.
Yeah, they can't be scoring over each other and battling RB for 6th in the championship.
Up to the temperature and pressure that he would like. His confidence is coming back. He's now dragging himself onto the back.
Yeah, Hamilton is.
Into Haas battle, Crofty. Pretty good turning down.
Team Radio, heavy rain in sector 3. That's what science has been given a warning.
Heavy rain in the final sector of the lap.
Which will be a relief to those whose intermediate tyres are starting to overheat a bit. Already George Russell has been told, find some water, try and cool down those intermediate tyres.
Looks like the heavy rain has arrived.
Some natural cooling coming from the skies in a few moments' time as we get into sector 3. We'll see how it looks. We're on board now with Charles Leclerc.
On board Leclerc.
Making his way to Pico de Pato. Corner number 10. 50 miles an
Russell
hour.
at the fastest lap. They're nearly 3 seconds ahead of the field.
The dive towards Sound and it gets back on the power for the main straight once again. And this
Have a
is
look.
where the conditions are getting just that little
The
bit
worst
heavier.
conditions
You can see
in
the
sector
grey
3.
skies, darker grey skies over to the right-hand side, and you'll see the spray now that the Ferrari will have to drive into. Charles Leclerc.
Russell at the fastest lap. Now it goes to Lando Norris.
It's like driving down the motorway without your windscreen wipers going in.
Yeah,
and
it is,
out.
to be fair.
You want to do that, and if it wasn't for the blinking lights of the Alpine in front, Charles Leclerc wouldn't know where Esteban Ocon is.
No, he wouldn't.
DRS in these conditions, so the drivers are having to just use the old school slipstream to draw themselves up to the car.
Yeah, they have to use the slipstream. Team Radio, Max.
So, Max, this increased rain intensity will last around 2 or 3 minutes.
2 or 3 minutes, increased rain.
Shower here. Norris doing a fastest lap of a 25.4, Crofty. That is.
I thought after the sprint would go up a dry race, but no, it looks like it ain't.
It's not far away from when they ended qualifying.
Now Norris 9.5 seconds ahead of Max.
9.5 seconds, Lando Norris at second, down to Max Verstappen in 10th. Let's go to Sky Race Control and Bernie Collins.
Yeah, so I was just going to add to Corinne's point there. Obviously, much heavier cars now. So around 3
Yeah, it
seconds
is.
of that lap time could be attributed
Yeah,
purely
hitches in
to
my head.
fuel. To pick up on Verstappen's point, what he was told about the
Good
race,
check football
this
again.
heavier intensity is short, but then there's still like
It's 4-1 Tottenham, great.
consistent rain for a significant amount of this race.
And we've got a double yellow flag.
Double yellow, it's Behrman.
At the moment, can't quite see.
Is it Behrman?
Whoever it was went back onto the track. Very
I think it was Behrman.
As we ride on board with.
Yeah, Ollie Behrman.
It was Ollie Behrman who went off the track and he's dropped down into 17th place. So
And he's rains at his worst. Lando another fastest lap.
Nico Hulkenberg, first running for Ollie Behrman in the wet weather in a Formula One car. He's dropped now down to 17th.
We give it a like,
Crosses
yeah.
the line, still in 10th place. Gaining though by a few car lengths on Pierre Gasly. And
Verstappen's 10th. Me 9th, I should say.
There goes Max Verstappen.
There goes
He's
Max.
got another place and he's up to 9th.
Yeah, he's really got really good commitment and confidence.
Yeah, Verstappen has always a good commitment in this weather.
It doesn't worry about the lockdown. We're honestly like, why? That record working well in these conditions. Here's
Yeah, Red Bull always works.
Russell on the right hand
Yeah,
side.
Red Bull's working on for Max today.
The initial getaway, actually, Norris probably got a better launch, but again, that second.
Yeah, the second phase has been Lando's Achilles heel this year, of pole position.
Just leaped in front. Now watch. There's Lawson trying to go down the outside of Tsunoda. He's there.
Yeah, you got a bit greedy, Lawson, dude.
And that basically allowed Leclerc to just drive around the outside. Further back, watch Verstappen. Oh,
Verstappen had already got ahead of Sergio Perez going into turn 1.
Yeah, Verstappen
It is
did.
the second phase now. This is where George Russell gets going. You can see the live shots on the left-hand side of your screen. And for all George Russell's good work at the start, Lando Norris.
Yeah, maybe done already because Lando's gaining.
On the last lap by half a second, and on this lap, he's gained by about half a second.
Look at Verstappen start.
But he's very much in touch. Brilliant start by Verstappen. Clears the Haas, and now watch how he picks his way round the outside.
Yeah, he's looking for the grip at this stage.
Yeah, he is.
Being patient as well, not trying to get too greedy too early on. And now watch
Yeah,
this.
Verstappen not being
Squares
greedy.
off,
Not being
uses the grip
greedy
around
at the start.
outside to out-drag
I was say greedy. I mean greedy,
the
of course.
Sauber and draws up alongside Lewis.
It's Perez a spin.
Let's have a little look here. Sergio Perez being spun around.
He did on his own.
Yeah.
He was just
He made a big splash below his rear tyres.
The rear of the car around. So Lando has now got a gap of 3.3.
Yeah, he does. Verstappen's ahead of Alonso.
And he's right on the back of George Russell.
Now, the question is, what will McLaren do with Piastri? Will they tell him to back up Max, or will they just leave him to it?
60 of 70 here, and an incident involving Ollie Bearman and Franco Colapinto.
Colapinto and Bearman.
Causing a collision.
Two of the F2 drivers.
16th place currently, just ahead of Sergio Perez and Joe Guanyu. No Alex Albon in the race. Lance Stroll is out.
And Stroll's out, and Albon couldn't race.
Here, a starting procedure infringement for George Russell, Yuki Tsunoda, and Liam Lawson, along with Lando Norris, who's already under investigation by the stewards. So it isn't just the one who went first.
Yeah, I told you.
It's the others that followed him that all might get penalties too.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think
I did say at first, why not? Why just punish Norris if everyone else went with him? Except the last few.
We'll see how that unfolds. What these drivers are hoping is it gets added on.
Verstappen went fastest up.
I think early on, right? You want to get this done early on, because then if you get a safety car later or something, you can effectively make that time back up.
Yeah, you can.
Right, Oscar Piastri is ahead now of Max Verstappen. Who is,
what will Piastri do?
About 9/10 of a second.
There's Verstappen and Alonso.
On the last lap, he managed to get past Fernando Alonso and up into 8th place. Norris could do with Piastri holding Verstappen up here.
Yeah, Norris could do that. Could do with that.
Seems to be able to do that. Max is driving superbly well, and for McLaren and their championship chances, and for Lando Norris and his chance in the Drivers' Championship, he rather needs his teammate.
Yeah, he rather does right now, Lando.
Absolutely flying here. Fastest lap.
Turn 10.
Last time
there was Bearman and Colapinto.
9/10 faster than Piastri, and even on this current lap, he's already done another half second.
So Pando Polis is 10 seconds clear. Maxi Pad Verstappen.
On board with Pierre Gasly, currently in 10th place.
Going after Fernando Alonso.
Fernando Alonso in the Aston Martin ahead of him. And whilst those two battle away, George Russell leads Lando Norris.
It's quite dark on the straight now.
The line
straight.
once more. Norris had got to about 7/10 behind George Russell. He's just dropped back a little bit.
He's dropped back a bit. I think this could be similar to the 2012 race where we had a Red Bull cutting through the field and McLaren winning.
On the first lap. But Max has passed 2 more cars and pulled away nearly.
This time won't have a midfield car coming and take the lead at the race.
There's a real struggle going on in that number 44 cockpit.
He is the fastest man on the track, Max Verstappen, currently.
Yeah, now he's got Piastri right ahead of him.
Russell, the race leader, and look how they're all hunting for a little bit of cool stuff, a bit of water, a few puddles to splosh through.
But 6 times faster than Lando. Now he's got his team. Now he's got Lando's teammate to deal with, like Max says. Now, what will Piastri do? Will he just go and get Lawson, or will he try and defend for Max?
Slick tyres as yet. Bernie Collins, you might know the answer to that.
I was waiting for the question there, Proctor, but yes, I think we're not on slick tyres at this stage.
Nah, no chance of slicks at this rate.
You could do it, you maybe could survive on a qualifying lap, but you cannot overtake offline on any of the damp conditions with slick tyres here.
Yeah, you can't on a damp patch, otherwise you'd go straight at the barriers. And a bit like Russell and Bottas in Imola 21. That crazy crash.
And Berman actually hit the back of him. So it wasn't.
Now, what's going to happen here? Is Piastri going to defend, or is he just going to say, go on, Max?
Max Verstappen is right on the tail of Oscar Piastri. As I said, he's comfortably the fastest man on this 2.67 mile circuit currently. And he's got to.
Yeah, what will Piastri do against Maxi Pad? Will he get his Piastri and just use it as a blockage, or will he not bother?
Going into turn 1 to get past Piastri.
Penalty for Ollie Bearman.
Penalty. Then he'll serve when he comes into the pit for his
10 seconds. Jesus Christ.
Out of the curve of the soul we go. And Max Verstappen is hunting down through the mist and spray.
He's not going for it at this rate.
Towards Casino de Lago we go. And he stays behind the McLaren. But the longer that Piastri can keep Verstappen.
Yeah, the longer Piastri can keep Maxi Pad behind, the better it is.
Norris, who can't quite get past George Russell yet, but is only about 9 seconds clear of Verstappen. When they started this race, there was Lando Norris in pole and Verstappen in 17th.
Verstappen's only 11 seconds off the lead. I can't imagine we're going to get through this entire afternoon without a safety car. So he is 100% not out of contention for a win.
Yeah, Verstappen isn't out of contention.
The right is really bad. Car bouncing so much.
Oh, we can't bounce him Hamilton. That's not good.
Hamilton, as you picked up, really struggling out there. Carlos Sainz struggling too, so he just can't get past Valtteri.
Yeah, Verstappen's got way more confidence on turning
for whom, by the way,
in the wet weather compared to Piastri. As Russell goes quickest.
Today, car number 55 being kept at bay by the team managed by the guy who is 55. Kind of symbols, really, when you look at it. Here comes Max Verstappen on Oscar Piastri. Piastri looks at his mirrors. Here comes Verstappen.
Oh, he's gone for it.
Open from Oscar Piastri. And
door left open by Piastri.
Just walked straight through without invitation.
He came from so far back. I don't think Oscar expected him to come from that much of a distance. But Max has just got, as I was saying before, this tremendous confidence into the center braking on the inside line. And it takes... It's so hard to describe properly. It takes feel. You need to be able to have the judgment under your left foot. As you know, when you get on the brakes, any hint of lockup, any hint of an under rotation, to feel that and dovetail it with how you turn the steering wheel. It is so.
So Verstappen's now in 7th place now, chase after Lawson, Leclerc, and Ocon.
To get through there.
This is why Ollie Behrman's got a penalty.
Yeah.
And the door was kind of open for him. Franco Colapinto struggling away, but
no chance.
The door was not open at point of contact.
We have a 10-second penalty for the collision with Colapinto. Right. You didn't do that in time.
Yeah, but you ran into the back of him.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I mean, I kind of understand the question because nothing's happened to Colapinto.
True, unless there is a bit of damage. That is.
Yeah, I don't know if Verstappen did that, honestly.
And if Oscar Piastri wasn't expecting it, I'm surprised nobody from the pit wall didn't warn him that he should be expecting it. Because that's the third time.
That's what I'm surprised at. I don't know what a pit wall is going to warn Piastri saying Max is behind you.
And he is, as I say, comfortably the quickest man on the track.
Helmut Marko's going to be on the phone to the RB pit wall, hasn't he? Max is weaving around, maybe just trying to send a message to Liam Lawson. Hey, I'm behind you, new fastest lap.
I think he's also trying to cool the tyres a little bit.
Probably could be,
He's hunting for a bit of wet stuff there. What does Liam Lawson do? Now, he can be compliant and let Max Verstappen through, or he can hold him up and defend.
Lawson could do that, try and show what he can be made of.
Well, look at that. He's left the door open. So I think that rather answers the question. Because that was a helmet. Do you mind if I just let Max through?
Do you remember what happened in Mexico when he was less compliant with the Red Bull car?
Yeah, he was with Perez.
Yeah, I think he got hauled into the headmaster's office for a little chat after the race, didn't he? So, that was a very compliant move there. So, here we go. We're going to see Verstappen's pace now. He's got free air.
Yeah, free air he has. Chase up to Leclerc.
2.7 seconds, the gap between them.
Ted Kravitz.
Just looking down to the Ferrari pit wall. That's going to come down quite quickly because Leclerc is struggling. To make progress past Esteban Ocon.
Hamilton's off.
A yellow flag. We got a double yellow because Lewis Hamilton went off.
He's been complaining about bouncing.
With Franco Colapinto, Ted, at full pelt right behind him here. You've got Lewis Hamilton, vastly experienced, 7 world championships. Franco Colapinto on the hunt. He might just go down the
Colapinto.
And the Argentine of the Williams is going to try just that. Wheel to wheel with Lewis Hamilton through the centre S's. Hamilton tried to get the inside
close.
Through the second part, but
Colapinto's got it.
The Brazilian crowd loving this. Their favourite Lewis Hamilton has been challenged by the new favourite Franco Colapinto, and Argentina win.
Argentina win for now.
Nothing wrong with that Williams. If I was the Haas,
but ain't anything wrong with that car. And there's Bottas and Behrman.
Here goes Ollie Behrman, gets past Valtteri Bottas, who's really struggling out there.
Yeah, Bottas is struggling. And now Kick Sauber's at the back again.
I'll take a bit of that as well. So we're starting to see tyres go off there. People struggling for grip. Certainly Hamilton was struggling for grip there. The crowd at turn 1 absolutely love that moment.
Yeah, they love that.
Colapinto, very popular man around here. Ted Kravitz, he's probably the only man that can silence you.
Well, the crowd right next to your commentary box. Ole, 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 Franco, saying the Argentine crowd. So they're absolutely
loving it. Watch this for Hamilton, how he went off.
Leclerc's in trouble with his tyres, trying to keep them cool, really struggling.
He couldn't turn it, he was locked up.
Verstappen in a lap or two.
He could have done with Raikkonen in 2012, but obviously He knows
And we
he's
saw-
smart enough to do
we saw
that.
what happened as he lost a place, dropped down to
I
13.
mean, that bit out was quite funny with Kimi how he did that.
News for Lando Norris and the rest of those that went off the
Striking
line.
distance in 3 laps.
When the start was
Verstappen
reported,
on Leclerc.
decided to not wait around on the grid because the starting procedure infringement is going to be investigated after the race.
What?
So no chance that if they do get a penalty, they can serve it during the race. It's all going to happen after the race.
I get that in some ways. You know,
I didn't really
we
get
all want
that.
to know what the result is when they cross-check a flag and go on the
It needs
podium.
to be the right result.
Correct. And on this occasion, I think because it's unprecedented, I think they need to hear from the drivers.
To be fair, actually, kind of, yeah, that's actually.
Correct.
That is kind of true. They need to hear from the drivers about it.
Stewards can't interview them during the race, so I think on this occasion, yeah, it is the right thing to investigate afterwards.
Liam Lawson now has Oscar Piastri for company. This is how it looks in the Drivers' Championship
Yeah,
currently.
that's how it looks.
This rain till lap 30.
Lap 30, this rain.
Gap down
So
to
that's
35 points, but there is rain. It is intensifying. We've got it for about another 16 minutes or so.
And Verstappen, roughly the previous lap, 1.3 seconds faster than Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, Verstappen's flying.
But he's right on the back of him. Leclerc, though, I think, is a bit bottled up now. He's stuck behind Esteban
He's stuck
Ocon,
behind.
who is in turn stuck, I think, behind Yuki Tsunoda.
2016,
Russell, Tsunoda and Lawson,
that race where
not Lando.
Verstappen
So I
was
think Lando.
scintillating.
What about Lando's
Red
penalty?
Hot 4 in the wet here in Interlagos, went from 14th to 3rd in the space of 14 laps.
Yeah, it was
We're
unreal.
on lap 14, and he's gone from 17th on the grid to 6th, and he is now right up behind Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, he is now.
He's just dropped Piastri like a hot potato, isn't he? Piastri is struggling to get past Lawson. This is
Yeah, Piastri and let's watch Perez
This will be the moment.
with Hulkenberg.
Comes
Yeah, Hulkenberg.
wheel to wheel with Ollie Behrman.
Oh,
That was
that's
almost
Behrman.
rubbing wheels. Might have been rubbing wheels with Ollie
Could have
Behrman.
been.
very, very close there, but Perez bailing out of it. Right, Verstappen's now joined the train in the
Yes.
battle for the third place. So I can see him getting himself into a podium position fairly soon. Yeah.
Yeah, fairly soon. Max should be in a podium place.
Having new intermediate tyres. Others maybe had used their,
Yeah, maybe.
their allocation during the course of the qualifying session. It was new intermediates for Max Verstappen. You can understand why he's probably finding that little bit more grip
He probably is.
to go hand in hand with the grip that he finds here in the wet.
Yeah, no,
He
unquestionably.
ain't going for it, yeah. He's too far
What is
back.
interesting to me, Crofty, is that the gap.
He went for it, I think, on Ben on Piastri because he had to get it done, otherwise Piastri could have held him up.
Under 11 seconds. So this gaggle of cars, I think they're all quite close together and kind of racing each other.
There's Russell and
They're not
Norris at the
actually
front.
dropping away much more from the lead.
Norris was
anymore. So
3.5 tenths
Verstappen
quicker than
in
Max
the
on the
last
previous
7 or 8
lap.
laps hasn't actually dropped off any further from George Russell.
No, it hasn't. To be fair, it's still that same gap. Lewis Hamilton's coming back, by the way, for another moment with Franco Colapinto.
Yeah, Hamilton's going back to
Hamilton's
Colapinto.
gaining on Colapinto down the back straight towards turn 4 as that rivalry resumes once again. And
Yeah, it does.
there's a super move from Colapinto to get past Lewis
Yeah, it was a
Hamilton
super move from
a couple of
Colapinto.
laps ago, and he's now keeping him at bay. And Carlos Sainz is joining that to make it a three-way scrap as we can right on board with Hamilton.
Right on board with
Through
Hamilton.
Fiorentina,
Oh.
there was almost a gap.
Almost a gap,
Hamilton
both
was driving
closed.
into it. Colapinto closed it. Don't often get past on that particular piece of asphalt.
No, you don't.
And Interlagos. Out in front, the gap between
Russell still leads with Norris
Norris has been
second.
maintained at about
Somebody's at
1
4-lander is
second,
pitting.
currently.
So I know he wouldn't
Norris
at this
in
stage at the
touch,
Grand Prix.
but not making the impression on this race that he would have been hoping for.
I wonder if Max is going to have a couple of laps here to just cool the tyres down,
He probably
charge
will.
the battery back up, and just let things settle a little bit as Hamilton has a
Little bit of
snap
moment.
obviously on the inside
And
curve.
Williams as well, ahead of him.
And Williams.
Colapinto in what is his 6th Grand Prix in Formula One, his first taste.
Oh, Ocon made a mistake because Leclerc's going for it with him.
To see the
But then Leclerc backed out of it, I believe.
Lewis Hamilton is driving towards. The Williams is pretty handy in a straight line here, and no DRS.
Can we get back to the other
try
battle,
and help
please?
The cars behind
Hamilton went a bit
an
wide.
overtake, and Hamilton
In
has
Mercedes
to
Restos.
stay down in 13th once again and hope for a better
Yeah,
exit.
back to this battle.
Curve and a song and down the Retroposta. Here is Verstappen. Forget the time.
In turn 8, Leclerc.
A few car lengths behind Charles Leclerc.
Have a look at Ocon, but full better with Team Radio Lando.
Ocon was vulnerable.
Yeah, I just struggling to rotate, so slow at the straight.
Well, they've gone for the Austin Mexico wing, have McLaren.
Yeah, they have.
The higher side of downforce off, which would explain why he's a bit slower on the straight.
Yeah, that's actually.
Tires,
Yeah, I think that's because of rain. I think that's why they did that. Or they already have a wing on early in the weekend.
Actually, DRS hasn't yet been enabled, but the spray doesn't seem too bad anymore. We'll have a look here.
Yeah, straight doesn't.
Inside Max Verstappen's helmet, and of course you can see the water droplets and the spray coming behind, but maybe it's because we're expecting more rain in the near future, as Leclerc all over the back of Ocon actually into turn one, but doesn't.
Yeah, still.
Well, Ocon is sticking to this task well. And we haven't really mentioned him in this race so far, but we should. And we should mention Yuki Tsunoda too. Because Yuki Tsunoda is just very much holding his own, very nicely in third place. In the podium places currently, Esteban Ocon behind him. And neither look that vulnerable to a charge behind from a Ferrari and then the Red Bull. The rain is coming. There is heavier rain
coming.
This race. And if it is worse than qualifying yesterday, prepare yourself for a red flag, because there's no way they'd have raced at that.
No, definitely not.
No.
So
the visibility was the big problem.
Right.
Yeah,
so
I was in qualifying.
The quarter distance mark now, aren't we? So still a long way to go in this Grand Prix. But it feels like this.
Oh, just like guys, but it's carrying the race.
Stuck behind Yuki Tsunoda.
So Max is now over 11 seconds, I'll say, behind.
Get the move.
Nearly 11 seconds behind Russell, and maybe 10 seconds behind Lando Norris.
Would you remember last year?
Against 2 seconds lap, he'll be with Lando on lap 22.
Held off Sergio
And
Perez
Russell.
25 laps at the end. You place your car in the right spot here defensively, you can make it very, very tricky for someone to pass, and he did just that.
Yeah, and now this is costing Max time. He's, relative to these two cars up at the front, it's now cost him just over a second. So he's now gotten a point where he's in the dirty air, and it does affect the cars, of course, in the wet as it does in the dry. And he's got to now try and find a way to get ahead of the pack.
Yeah.
There's the leader, and there's the man in second place, who's on the charge a bit on this lap, to be honest. He's taking chunks of time out of George Russell's lead.
T.Y. Hulkenberg.
He's getting slippery with these one tyres in the wet here.
Is that what George Russell is finding? Who before today led
That's what maybe Osama bin Russell is finding.
Where he finished third. It's the most laps he's led in a race since then. Remember, he finished first on the road in
Lando, George, Osama bin Russell, I should say, Norris, Tsunoda, Ocon, Leclerc, Lawson, and Piastri on these tyres.
Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Lando Norris is coming back at it, although Russell's had a much better middle sector than Lando Norris. Now,
Russell has
1.2 kilometres towards the first corner, and out of jump Sal, George Russell's got a nice gap between himself and Lando Norris, who will hope for a better first sector than he got last time around.
Well, Russell's a bit wide there.
In the middle bit, and then make an overtake charge. That's what he's looking for. But it's easier said than done, as you can see how the McLaren
Russell's a bit wide in the centre S's.
Turbulent wake of the Mercedes in front. Bernie Collins, let's head to you.
Yeah, so just going to come in a bit on strategy at this stage, Crofty. The big decision point for these teams is coming up. As we heard
it is.
there say,
do they stay out or do they come in for new winters?
We've got about 5 minutes now of less rain, and then behind that, heavier rain than we had in qualifying this morning. That heavier rain, I think, is not survivable on these Warren Inters.
No, it isn't.
I think the time might become strict immediate in maybe 6 or 7 laps or so. We need to get to the lane and then make the right time when to stop.
And at that point,
is
the rain only another
Behrman or Hamilton?
Or is it
Behrman on the inside.
That's a big decision for the team.
And there goes Ollie Behrman on Lewis Hamilton. 20 years difference. And Behrman's through.
And Ollie Behrman has got past Lewis Hamilton.
20 years difference in age.
Has got past Lewis Hamilton too. He's up in the 13th, and Hamilton continues to struggle in that Mercedes car.
Yeah, Behrman, 19 years of age, will be in F1 next year.
Towards Jun Sao.
Oh, he locked up.
Locked up again.
He locked up the right front. He was on the white line and then just locked up the right front.
It's going one way Hamilton today.
And just opened the door there. Watch there.
The Mercedes car does not suit him today.
Sainz did need a second invitation, but then he's again lost the place to Behrman on the.
To be fair, good move from Ollie Behrman.
Ollie Behrman down the retro poster. Lewis Hamilton Not giving him much space, but giving him enough.
Yeah, and then Behrman sends it.
Play to it down the inside there, making up the places that he lost when he hit Franco Colapinto and went back 6 places or so. He certainly gets some overtaking done here, but down in 14th currently. His teammate Nico Hulkenberg down at 11th. Fernando Alonso has the last points place in 10th behind Pierre Gasly. Oscar Piastri still behind Liam Lawson. Max Verstappen behind Charles
Verstappen's
Leclerc,
still behind
Esteban Ocon, and behind Yuki Tsunoda. These 4 cars
about 30% of the
separated
race
by
now,
about
so
2 seconds on the track. Norris.
Sainz having a look at Colapinto.
Carlos Sainz now has Franco Colapinto in his sights. He's finally starting to make some moves through the field. He's struggled.
Yeah, Sainz is.
Really struggled for pace in the early stages. Our winner last time out in Mexico.
Cars are trying a little bit. Rocking up, bouncing everywhere. Understood. See the
Oh.
sparks coming off the bottom of that Mercedes all the way down that straight.
Hamilton's guys drivable.
Logo, and you don't see that really from the other.
There have been questions that Mercedes are sabotaging Hamilton. If they are, then that is not what Hamilton deserves from the team he's won all these at the titles except one with, and obviously got Mercedes race wins with the team. And obviously most of those podiums and poles.
His opportunity as we get up to the CNIS.
But he might have to come from a long way back here because, as we mentioned, that Williams is pretty handy in a straight line. Here comes Carlos Sainz. Is this the smooth operation that he's looking for?
No, it isn't.
He's far enough behind, but
he's getting close on the brakes, though.
Maybe a Sainz, but just that little bit later on the brakes.
All race has been reduced by a lap. It's 69 laps now.
You know how difficult it is to pick your braking zone into a big, heavy braking zone on a Formula One track and a Formula One car.
No idea, Crofty, but I can tell you that George Russell is also struggling on the brakes.
Yeah, some of them Russell struggling on the brakes as well.
Brake problem on both cars. Hamilton saying that he can't stop the car, and Russell saying that it's split. There's an imbalance between left and right.
More imbalance at the brakes and
it hasn't meant that Norris has been able to close. In fact, if anything, Russell's now from a second pulled 1.8 seconds on Norris. So George is dealing with that brake issue.
Yeah, Russell's dealing with it the right way. And the club man a bit wide there. It gives Verstappen an opportunity now.
69 lap race. Maybe the message has got out to Max Verstappen. You've got one less lap to do some overtaking, and that might be a good time to do it. Here he comes. Charles Leclerc has got the inside line covered nicely.
They got close.
Around the outside. Can he hang on here? No, the Ferrari.
The Ferrari defends from a Red Bull.
Swings right. He stays ahead of that Red Bull. That was Charles Leclerc knowing exactly where Max Verstappen was going to go and defending it from a long way out. Into the Cito de Lago we go, and Leclerc
stays ahead.
Place.
Yeah, he did exactly the right thing. Didn't go too far on the inside, so it would have compromised his own run through the
He made another mistake.
Here comes Max into Fernandura.
On the inside of the horseshoe.
No, he's not going to make it work.
Of the prancing horse saves the day for Charles Leclerc.
Looks like Ryan's getting heavier now because
he tried to do it.
It looks all wetter.
He was squeezing up to the right line,
Stop moaning, Max. Get on with it. It's racing.
I think it was fair enough, to be honest. I mean,
it's fair, Max. Stop moaning.
Moment
for Max.
He did. While that
the big moment for Max.
Sainz has dropped back behind Lewis Hamilton.
Sainz must have made a mistake somewhere.
A moment out on the track. There's treachery everywhere you turn around.
Yeah, there is. Lap 23.
For the time being, though, is Max Verstappen a bit too far back on this occasion to be a challenge to Charles Leclerc? And it certainly looks like it, because that we're talking about has cost him. And look at the clouds hovering away over Sao Paulo in the distance, blowing their way.
We got the rain coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
It's definitely coming.
It's visibly darker as they come over the final sector of
half distance will be 35 laps.
If Sainz had a little bit of a thing with Colapinto, because he was very close behind him, and he's obviously now dropped back behind Behrman and Hamilton.
Yeah, it's getting really dark here in Brazil.
Down in 12th place has Ollie Behrman closing in on him. Is your question going to be answered? There's the Williams in front of the Ferrari. Ferrari doesn't think about trying to get
no, he's went wide.
Just knocked out the inside front and see it off wide. This is Hamilton's view of the rejoining Ferrari.
Oh, that's close.
It was just enough space to drive into there. Probably a ray of sunshine on what has not been a brilliant afternoon for Lewis Hamilton. Oh, Yuki Tsunoda.
Oh, Tsunoda and Ocon.
In the midfield, so through turn.
Looks like we've got a storm inbound in Brazil, but I don't think it is a storm.
Almost thought there was a chance. Liam Lawson is under pressure now from Oscar.
Yeah, there's the dark clouds.
7th place. Max Verstappen is a little bit closer to Charles Leclerc than he was on the last lap, but somewhere over Felipe's mother. It is their mothers. It's absolutely hosing it down here, and drivers
it's chucking it down.
Might be a good time to change tyres, but you want to wait until the right possible moment to do that. As across the line goes Tsunoda, then comes Ocon, then comes Leclerc, then comes Verstappen, and still these 4 remain in that order.
Yeah, they still do.
You make the call to go from the intermediate to the full wet. It's the driver that needs to make that call.
Yeah, it's a question. When will the drivers make the call?
I think it's too tricky in these conditions. I don't think it's safe enough. I don't think it's quick enough on this tyre. They need to be able to feel these conditions. But who is going to make that first call?
Yeah, who's going to make first call?
Absolute seconds on the outlap if they made it at the right time.
And the thing is, you're the race leader, you're Lando Norris, you don't want to make that call if it's the wrong call, because you're going to lose a heap of places, even if you are switching on to grippier tyres.
Yeah.
I would use Perez. If I was Red Bull, I would use Perez. If I was Ferrari, I would use Sainz to just be the
kind of Piastri McLaren.
Yeah,
just still down throwing the championship if they did Piastri.
In the point big positions.
Once again, Esteban Ocon thinks there's half a chance of getting past Yuki Tsunoda. I mean, this is a tussle that we see from time to time.
Yeah, it does. And Mercedes can use Hamilton as a little test for Russell.
Currently.
If they want to go for the win, yeah.
Whenever Yuki Tsunoda doesn't often run up this high, has never stood on the podium before in Formula One in his 83 previous races. And is that someone coming into the pits that looked to me like the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc coming into the pits? Yeah. It is. So Ferrari have made the first call here and have decided now is the time to switch tyres with Charles Leclerc. Tsunoda still holds on.
That's all. Ferrari taking the gamble.
Down. It's another set.
Another set into zone.
Tyres going on for Charles Leclerc. And Bernie Collins at race control, our friendly strategist, is looking bewildered.
The friendliest strategist, hopefully. There's a lot more rain on the radar, so I'm a bit surprised by the inter, but we know that the wet tyre.
Fox driver take us up front now. We can consider it. We'll think about it.
Oh, McLaren considering box driver take.
The wet tyre isn't as strong as drivers would like on this car, so they hold on to the intermediate.
The first 13th now.
Let's watch his lap time, but the heavy rain is right on us now.
So yeah, it is.
Get the feedback.
So would you have done that, Bernie? Would you have just waited for the heavy rain to then make a call of whether you go to the wet? Because if he does another stop, that's another 23 seconds.
Yeah, it is.
He can't afford to do another stop. I think the thinking on the Ferrari pit mode might be, if you can survive these few minutes of this heavier rain, hold on to that intermediate, then he doesn't have to switch
one saying hold on.
For what reason? Don't do as a box driver tank, too much traffic. No, it's just starting to rain a lot. If you don't want me to box, I'll stay out. We think this tire's going to be okay for a bit. We prefer to stay out. Okay.
It's right. You
so
remember
been told to stay out.
The opening stages where we had the deluge. Some were on the intermediates and some were on the slick tyres. And those on the slick suffered, but then made up when those intermediate runners had to pit. At the moment, that seems to be the sort of game.
Was that Zambor 23 we were talking about when they had deluge and then
yourself from having to pit, then you're okay. And there goes the RB of Liam Lawson.
It's Lawson
off the track, and a super little race for Liam Lawson is just unravelling as Hulkenberg.
Yeah, it is for Liam Lawson.
Yeah, just looking at where Charles has come out, Crofty, he's come out in that little pack around Lewis Hamilton here, so I'm not sure.
And what will Lando do? Will he go for it, or will he just be patient?
The sectors light up
he's going to be patient
on his outlap, so I don't know. It's we'll see how it plays out once the rain starts building up more.
Yeah, it will.
Lando Norris much closer to George Russell on this lap than he has been for some time. Lawson down to 9th place. That means Piastri's got a bit of free air behind Pierre Gasly. Verstappen's got free air now behind Esteban Ocon because Charles Leclerc pitted. And here we go through the spray. There's your race.
Yeah, Russell stays ahead for now.
On lap 27 of 69. Lando Norris behind him. Towards the first corner we go. Norris still behind. And further back on the main straight, Max Verstappen can see the blinking lights ahead of him of Esteban Ocon in the Alpine, but he's not making the impression in a straight line on that car. And you can see how much heavier the rain is getting now as down the back straight come on first two, Russell and Norris. It's teaming it down.
It is.
Yeah, and the lap time's up a second and a half slower than it was just a handful of laps ago. And Russell's the one who's in a tricky position. He's on the voyage of discovery. He's the one hitting the conditions first. And therefore,
Russell is.
Norris can see what he's done.
There was a collision between Piastri and Lawson. I didn't know that.
Where he can get the grip.
That's how Gasly got ahead.
Just needs to follow the tyre tracks of George Russell.
Pitted for a new tyre. He went into traffic and cannot clear it.
Yeah, he's stuck behind Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, there is.
That could be a really, really unfortunate move for Ferrari.
It could be. What time is Colapinto going on?
It is costing Charles Leclerc. Hulkenberg goes off at the first corner in the Haas, and it looks like he's stranded in the runoff area and not moving. There he is. Car's beached.
Safety car.
Well, it has to be something. As Esteban Ocon gets past Yuki Tsunoda,
Ocon's there, Tsunoda.
Up into third place, and somehow Lando Norris is accelerating as fast as he possibly can down the straight and can barely see 20 feet in front of him. George Russell leads from Norris into the yellow flag zone. We go. No overtaking.
No overtaking. Someone else is going to go off, surely.
Max Verstappen once again, fastest man on the track, finding grip out there.
Yes,
and we've got a virtual safety car to clear away Nico Hulkenberg's Haas, which is going absolutely nowhere. The race gets neutralised, and now is that the time to come into the pit lane, because you lose so much less time under a virtual
Piastri's
safety car.
in.
Yes, it is. Oscar Piastri first on the scene. This has worked out beautifully for him.
Yeah, and Fernando Alonso.
And Aston Martin Alonso's in too.
Running up into the pit lane, Ted.
It's getting really busy down here.
Number 7 Instas again.
Piastri gets out. It's still intermediate, even though it is absolutely chucking it down. So Alonso and Piastri so far. Now the Haas of Ollie Behrman.
And Hamilton.
Even though it is chucking it down, they don't think it's wet enough for full wets just yet. They'll see what happens if the race.
I'm not surprised. I'm a bit surprised by that. I was going to say I'm not surprised, but I'm actually a bit surprised.
These guys adjusted their tyre pressures on the second formation grid. That's against a technical directive, and they've been reported to the stewards. So trouble ahead. Oh, Checo has put the full wets on.
Yeah.
Checo's put the full wets on. So both Russell, the race leader, Crofting, and Lewis Hamilton have been reported to the stewards for
Russell and
adjusting
Hamilton.
their tyre pressures on the second grid.
Triple header in the Americas. The stewards might still be in this part of the world by the time we get to Vegas.
Oh,
in a couple of
Hulkenberg.
weeks. Charles Leclerc has moved up into
He's got going, actually.
Hulkenberg has got going again. George Russell saying it's red flag conditions out there at the moment.
Russell's saying red
not
flag.
the view, it seems, of race control. The virtual safety car is now ending as George Russell comes into the pits and Lando Norris.
They're coming for wets, I'm guessing.
So what did Ocon, Tsunoda, and Verstappen do here?
As far as lightning for a minute.
Actually chucking it down. It's gone green, but do they stay out and think if it's a red flag, they'll get track position? Let's keep an eye out here. Ocon's come past the commentary box.
He leads the race. Max Verstappen moves into second. Yuki Tsunoda is pitting. And
Tsunoda's pitting.
Virtual safety car ending at the wrong time for Russell and Norris.
I said bring up a safety car.
That they were going to get a cheap pit stop out of this. That is not the way that it is turned out. Ocon and Verstappen move up into the top two. Russell will come out in third place ahead of Lando.
And Norris out behind Gasly.
In fourth and fifth behind Pierre Gasly.
Look at the rain coming down. The conditions are so wet. And Perez is the only one on the full wet tyre.
Now, this might play in the Sergio Perez hands.
Yeah, it may do.
We'll see what unfolds with the conditions, but at the moment, it's a case of those on the intermediates. You've just got to hang on. And I think McLaren, unless they really had to make that stop, made the wrong call for Lando Norris.
Perez dropped it. It's made 7 seconds on Behrman in the first 2 seconds.
Yeah, Perez.
On the wet tyre.
Why didn't McLaren put a wet on?
That's Oscar Piastri and Liam Wilson.
Yeah,
that's why. That's why also. Please went off his spun. That's how Hulkenberg went off.
Look at Tsunoda. Let's keep an eye on Tsunoda. He's on his out lap.
Tsunoda on the wets.
We'll see what his sectors come up with.
And Lawson on wets as well.
Penalty for Oscar Piastri for causing that collision. Lots of drivers are saying this is just undrivable currently.
Yeah, penalty for Piastri.
I have to say, for most of us mere mortals, it totally would be. But Esteban Ocon, for the second time in his career,
One of his heavyweights going to go.
Is leading a Formula One Grand Prix. And one of the previous two. He went on and won it. And he's
Yeah.
got Max Verstappen, the man he tangled with here in Interlagos all those years ago, right behind him.
Yeah, and he's opened the gap. Look.
Yeah, he has.
1 minute 40 last time. Just think about
1 minute
that.
40.
That is 15 seconds.
They could stop a race here.
15 seconds slower than the fastest lap.
Lights are only 3 minutes. Okay, I think that's why they're not stopping it.
Max Verstappen. And by the way, Pierre Gasly's
So that now explains why they're not stopping the race.
Stopped in this race. Alpine.
Someone's gone off. That's Gasly. Or they go into
1 and 3 here in Interlagos on lap 30 of 69.
This is getting on the edge here.
But Lando Norris is going for the move on George Russell.
No, it says.
Russell going so slowly that Lando Norris thinks, no, I can make the move. I can
Yeah,
get
he can.
in time.
No, it's up to
I can put
P4.
my car up in the 4th place. Finally, he has got past George Russell.
Norris feels brave.
2 wins for Lando Norris. 3 others past them when these two went into the pits.
Yeah, but that's a net race lead.
Yeah, it is.
Really, because Norris
Safety car.
Deployed now.
But if they quit now, it won't be a net race lead. So
Well, no, it might be. They're not
Might
that
be.
far away from Lando
yeah,
Norris.
12 seconds, drop
So,
it.
yeah, sorry, no, it is a net race.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're right.
it's 12 seconds to Ocon.
It's like a rainbow, so they could bring you out for 5 laps and then see what they
He
think.
could make the stop and come out still in front of Norris. I think both Verstappen and Gasly would come up behind them if they.
I now we see why we started the race earlier.
Esteban Ocon, he's got a 7-second lead over
Yeah.
Max Verstappen.
Ocon quicker than Verstappen.
Give Esteban Ocon his due. He has been exceptional.
If he wins, this will be the 8th different winner of the
He
season.
has driven absolutely exceptionally on those intermediate tyres that he's had on right from the start. And I dare say he's going to come into the pits here and get rid of those to put on. Well,
No, he isn't.
No, he's not. But I suppose the thing is, what tyres do you put on? It's looking
Yeah.
brighter away to our left currently from where the weather has been coming in. So does he just want to
Yeah, he's just staying.
keep the temperature?
Yeah,
of
but
these
staying
tyres,
out.
keep out there?
He's keeping track position. He's just thinking, I'll stay out there, I'll survive. Behind the safety car, I'll have clear visibility. I'm going to keep track position. And maybe the safety car will stay out long enough for this massive rain shower to clear away.
Yeah.
And we'll have better conditions. And I'll have, 1-3 for Alpine.
This was awesome.
On board with Liam Lawson. And this.
And to Mercedes. That's Hamilton.
Banging wheels there.
Banging wheels with
Well,
Hamilton.
he's on the
Lewis
full wet.
Hamilton.
Yeah, he's on the full wet tyres. He's got
Yeah.
good grip in these
I don't think
conditions.
Hamilton saw it coming at all.
No.
No, Hamilton probably wouldn't.
So we got a safety car here, and a lot of drivers calling for a safety car. Did it ever get to a stage where we?
So it's about rain decreasing in 1 to 2 minutes.
Did it get to a stage where a red
And
flag
all the
was
fresher
possible,
tyres actually work
should have
better
been called, or the fact that
than the
rain
worn ones.
blowing over
I
and
think they
going
will, you know.
is that why race control is on the safety car?
Track conditions, it's wet all round.
The point you made is right, which is they think as soon as you red flag a race, there's a whole set of procedures that need to happen, and it takes a lot of time. So I think what they've decided is let's have the safety car, let's get this immediate big shower just to go over the circuit, get away from here. Have
They give
the cars going around, of course.
heavy shower away and then
any of that standing
still
water.
conditions are like then get going again. Carpenter's got new winters.
So I think actually having a safety car, just clearing that water away, having the cars clear the water away, is actually a sensible thing.
Yeah, sensible thing to do. Because otherwise, it's going to lead to crashes.
10-second penalty for Oscar Piastri for causing a collision.
We're saying qualifying, so we'll have less crashes than quali.
Causing a collision. Under investigation for adjusting tyre pressures. The two Mercedes cars.
Yeah, the two Mercedes, four.
And Lewis
They said
Hamilton.
none of them
Under
invested that.
investigation for leaving the grid at the start. Lando Norris, who was on pole. George Russell.
That will all be done after
Liam
the race,
Lawson,
but
Tsunoda and Charles Leclerc, I think, as well. I think that's the parish notices, Ted Kravitz. And all of those being investigated for the start will be investigated at the end of this race, whenever that might be.
Yes, Croppy, but I'm still
Hulkenberg's
thinking about
actually
Mercedes
still not got back
adjusting tyre
going.
pressures on the grid. I
I mean, fair play to Hulkenberg.
It's a no-no, isn't it? I mean, they've stated.
This will give Verstappen a match point in Vegas as well, as it stands.
TD for this year, but it's a real no-no. I don't know how they're going to explain their way out of this Mercedes. So the Haas of Nico Hulkenberg has come into the pits to, I think, get rid of the full wets. This is now not full wet conditions It is easing up a little.
At least don't bring your red flag out, please.
Massively crofty here in the pit lane, and I think while it was for the last 3 or 4 minutes, Sergio Perez, Yuki Tsunoda, and the Haas that I just mentioned on the right tyre at that time, it's now the right tyre for intermediates.
Yeah, when Ryan's chucking down like that, he's got to be full wet.
I totally agree. From the radar, it should clear off now for a little bit. We can't quite.
Oh, Colapinto.
Now that is Franco Colapinto, and this will be a red flag.
Yeah.
I know we're behind the safety car, but this will be a red flag, and this will be a big gain for Esteban Ocon, Max Verstappen, and Pierre Gasly, who haven't pitted in this race yet.
Yeah, but coming out red flag.
And Franco Colapinto had just been into the pits to change tyres.
Should have pushed too hard, Franco.
For the spot where we saw Giancarlo Fisichella in the past.
No, it was Fernando Alonso.
Fernando Alonso,
Mark Webber
as well.
Yeah,
Mark Webber. We've seen lots of people, and it's the Williams mechanics. They've had such a tough day trying to build both cars. Alex Albon's car, they couldn't get done. Colapinto there. I mean, Williams. Also, does the damage bill properly. That's just piled up.
Yeah, it has. About 2 million or 3 million today for Williams.
But first of all, let's hope and check that he is okay. He's moving around.
Yep.
And
he's getting out.
A collective groan from the Ultraline fans below our commentary box. Here comes the safety car.
That's great for Lando.
As Colapinto's getting out, so that's good to see him getting out unaided and that he's okay.
Max Verstappen's just radioed in to say my tyres are just like a boat. Well, they can get a new rudder in the pit lane. And with some superb driving, forcing his way into contention, and a red flag
but it's not
the
good
right time.
Max is trying to win the Grand Prix.
Has
try again.
Not just in terms of places here, but in terms of 2 places over his championship rival. Well, no one ever wishes for a red flag because the driver's gone off, but this could not have worked out better for Verstappen, and that couldn't have worked out
that's a big one.
For Franco Colapinto. That's another big accident for the Williams team, who've got a lengthy check to write out for the crash damage this weekend.
Yeah, they have.
Wow, just look at the debris that's gone. That's
it's massive debris.
So that'll have to get swept up. During this red flag, damage on the side there, from the radiator.
Yeah.
Cooling liquid just spilling out onto the circuit as well. And
red flag.
completely unsurprising.
I'm going to wait now about 20 minutes.
In the pit lane.
I guess it's 20 minutes anyway.
I think how everybody feels towards every member of that Williams team.
Yeah.
They
Colapinto's out.
Brilliantly to get at least one car into this race. And now both cars are out. Alex Albon didn't start.
I guess everyone can just change tyres for free now. They can. No.
And I've got to say, they can. And unless Lando Norris had to come in, I think McLaren made a strategy error there.
Yeah, they did.
Because they could see the virtual safety car period was ending. Now, I couldn't see the end of the pit lane entry line that you have to either commit to, stay left and come in, or stay to the right and stay out.
Yeah.
But it seems
Lando chose to come in with Russell
to go against the call of box.
Yeah, because they've all got onboard cameras. They could have kept an eye on what was happening with Nico Hulkenberg's car, couldn't they?
Yeah, they could have.
They could see that it was going to. He was turning around and going to get going, and just with the timing of when that rain shower was coming and stuff, because it's one thing to come and box and then put a set of wets on because you think, oh, it's too dangerous to be on that. But put the Impers on. So in that case, I think what Alpine have done with both cars and obviously what Max has done.
Yeah, none of this
right
got too pleased.
Listen, we're not even halfway through this race.
No, we're not.
Right? And we've had Max Verstappen go from 17th on the grid up into second place.
Yeah, you couldn't wait from 17th on the grid.
13th up into third. There's a lot going to happen. So
in Canada, they left it a lap too late to box Lando Norris, and it cost him. And I think here they went a lap too early.
They did.
Or shouldn't have gone at all. And at the moment, it has cost Lando Norris. The top 3 will get a free change of tyres. Ocon, Verstappen, Gasly. Christmas, birthdays, and everything have come early for Alpine. But it's going to be a very different race come the restart. Yuki Tsunoda now down at 6th, losing out.
Business race going to be at 20 minutes.
Driving brilliantly as well. Ted Kravitz, as Hamilton and Lawson get noted for causing a collision. Let's head down to you.
Yeah, lots going on down here as all the drivers getting out of their car, back to their garages, go for a comfort break and then debrief with the engineers. Oscar Piastri has just come over, Crofty, to apologise for Liam Lawson to Liam Lawson. So
yeah, sorry, mate.
Yeah, no, he's Piastri's apologised to Liam Lawson for the crash earlier. So Liam kind of said, "All right, yeah, well, okay." I think I hear what you're saying about Lando Norris. It was just a matter of keeping the car on the island for McLaren. Really. Lando's just walked past me. Doesn't look like he's either happy or sad about the situation. Still in P4 ahead of Russell, isn't he? But in any case, as you say, the Alpine mechanics had been out in the pit lane with a variety, with a kind of pick your choice of tyres. A smorgasbord of tyres. First they came out with the inters, then they came out of wets, then they came out with 2 sets of wets. We thought they were going to double stack Gasly and Ocon, then they went back in. So they're sitting pretty at the moment. We'll see where they go from there.
Cheers, Ted. This has been noted by Race Control. The Hamilton-Lawson incidents. Lawson managed to get past the Mercedes.
Lawson did.
Turning in, I really don't think he knew that Liam Lawson was there. I think Nico Hulkenberg.
Yeah, these red flag rates are forward.
As well.
We expected they are.
He got stranded.
Max something to his team.
Max Verstappen debriefing what it's like on these tyres to help Marco and to his farming yachts. But Nico Hulkenberg has been noted for continuing on the track after receiving assistance. It was a smorgasbord of tyres for the Alpine team down in the pit stops. It's a proper party bag variety pick and mix for stewards to investigate penalties today. I've never known such a different array of penalties that need investigating.
Yeah, I saw one of the stewards
just checking to see what
we've all booked our flights to fly on Monday morning because we think it's going to be a late night here.
Yeah.
Might be a Tuesday as well. Either way, we're not going to get the full race for quite some time, or the full race order with any guarantee.
No, not.
Because there's so many from that aborted start infringement that will need investigating.
Yeah, well.
Yes, you mean after the race?
After the race.
Yeah, sure. It's interesting to see that McLaren haven't covered up their car with an awning. There's a man standing with an awning there.
No.
But they've left Lando's car out in the rain.
They have.
Well, there's the state of play in Sao Paulo. That's one of the lakes you can see over in the distance. Between the lakes and the rather dark stuff with the white lines around the outside is the newly renamed Interlagos Lake Track. It's been a bit wet for quite some time.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, just looking out the window, Crofty, the mechanics running up and down this pit lane and just carrying bits and pieces and fans.
That's for the radiator. Fluid from Colapinto's radiator.
The radiator from Colapinto's car. This is Russell.
Yeah. So red flag or red flag. I said it. Should have stayed out.
Yeah.
Into the pit lane. Follow the safety car.
Yeah, and exactly the same as with Lando Norris. I have to say I agree with George Russell there, and you said it, Karun. The drivers need to make the call. Pitting here, not the pit wall. Bernie Collins.
Yeah, just to comment on that a little bit, Crofty. I think there was time for McLaren to adjust that decision, I think, like we've discussed. However, I think we've got into this ideal now that lots of drivers on their inter. How badly worn is it? Is it going to survive?
Boring.
Norris was quite strong in saying this inter's not doing well. The one that he was already on the used one, and there was discussion for a number of drivers.
It was take a while,
and I think now we've got to this point in F1 where drivers assume we're going to get a red flag.
Well, yeah, Mazda's
drivers are out there that would stay on track, complaining that it's
I'm not sure if I go on this TV one and I'm streaming on the PC. I'm not sure if it'll go off, but I might do something like maybe a Wii Sports or something.
Seeing if there would be a red flag, and then stop. Even though it wasn't a fully reduced pit stop, I think they were
very battery on this thing.
They knew that was not going to be ideal, but they thought the new intermediate would work. And Of course, it's easier than to say now. We have had
That's
a
really
red
well.
flag, and they should have stopped.
Where's my
But
car?
at that time, with the information they had, it was the rain that was coming down. That stop
should I,
intro was the right thing to do.
I think
Actually, forget. Where's charger? I need to record something myself.
Where your pit loss goes from about 21 seconds down to about 12 seconds. Had the virtual safety car still been in operation, then whilst George Russell and Lando
Yeah, I don't fully agree with the whole VSC thing and then full safety car. I think they should have just brought the full safety car out.
Coming to an end, and because that would then go from a 12-second loss to a 21-second loss, why did the drivers get the call to no, stay out on the track?
Because it's still the right thing to have a freshman intermediate on.
Even though you're conceding track position.
Even if you're conceding track position, because of how revvy the rain was, there is a risk. And, it's a fair play to the drivers that have survived it on those very, very old tyres. Verstappen being one of them, the two Alpines. But that is a risk. If you don't get that red flag, it is a risk to survive that very, very wet condition on tyres that are very heavily worn. They're holding out for this red flag.
Talking of flags, there's a black flag for Nico Hulkenberg.
Oh.
Which means Karun Chandler.
He's out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See him again.
That means you are excluded from the Grand
Hulkenberg is disqualified.
Assistance.
We didn't see it, did we? We saw him sort of driving around and rejoining.
Yeah.
But we didn't actually see what the assistance was. We haven't seen a replay of that.
Ted, down to you.
No one's told him. Nico Hulkenberg is 5 meters away from me, sitting on an easy chair, sitting on a chair. Talking to Ayo Komatsu and Gary Gannon, his engineer.
Yeah, no one's told
Only
him.
now has Gannon put his headphones back on and is getting the news that his driver has been disqualified. Gary Gannon's face is a picture. He can't understand it. Ayo Komatsu doesn't have his headphones on, and Nico Hulkenberg doesn't have his headphones on. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. He's just been disqualified.
He doesn't know.
I know. I can see you. You're right opposite our commentary box.
This is so awkward.
I know.
Hulkenberg looks quite happy with himself. I can't tell him. I can't do it. How can I do
it?
I can't.
Come on.
You're
right there.
You're a master. What are we going to do?
You're the
master of subtlety.
Look at Gary. I mean, if there are any cameras down here, Gary Gannon is only now. He's giving him the signal, as in the cut signal. Oh, this is heartbreaking. I don't want to intrude on this anymore. This is just depressing me. Let me tell you about what's going on with the Mercedes.
And you have turned away from it as well.
Now the engineer is saying to the crew, the car crew, that's it. And they're going to get Nico Hulkenberg's car, get the tyre blankets off, wheel it back to the garage, and no more racing.
So we know what's happened here. 4 marshals who are watching it basically lifted up the front of the car over the drain.
No one's going to get out though if they just kept it.
To push it back a little bit so Hulkenberg could get going again. And technically, you can't do that.
So Hulkenberg
has the assistance he received
known that, surely,
to get back on the track.
Yeah, but you still argue the toss tape.
Okay, well,
I get from his point. You still carry on and just argue the toss and hope that.
Sure, what's I do while I'm waiting because it's boring as hell.
Able to argue it sitting on that plastic chair.
I would do married cover most of his charging, so.
Right, the detail about the Mercedes adjusting their tyre pressures on the grid is that you're only allowed to adjust the tyre pressures between 10 minutes and 5 minutes before the start when the tyres are off.
No further investigation on Hamilton and Lawson at turn 1.
Hamilton's car, the tyres were bolted; they were on the car. And so that is the infringement. Yeah. So good luck. Good luck to Mercedes.
I could ask Bernie Collins if she knows what the penalty for that would be, but that's like going through the entire back catalogue of Encyclopedia Britannica and telling me what happened on page 463.
Well, I'll do that.
I could watch Manchester United Chelsea all waiting, but then I won't know what time the race will restart. So I'm
going
to.
A few technical infringements last year, in particular, with the plank being worn. A technical
infringement. Probably making it a football watch along, which I don't want to make it because my Genocide Plus chance for football. So yeah.
The only
As F1 didn't start at half 3 UK time, I would have done Villa Tottenham watch along.
But I think if they're guilty of that, I think there's been an example. So let me go through Crofty. I will try and find out, and I will get back to you.
And while you're doing that, the teams have been informed that it will be a rolling start.
Rolling start.
The weather conditions need to improve, and they, at the moment, aren't good enough to give us an estimated time for a restart. But it will be a rolling start There's the weather radar.
Yeah.
To show the blue stuff coming in. When we get that rolling start, Esteban Ocon will be leading the field from Max
Ocon will be.
Verstappen, who of course was the driver he had a collision with in 2018 here.
Yeah, could history repeat itself?
Race win. So those two are, we're going to get a resumption in 10 minutes time.
10 minutes,
Yeah,
finally.
so I see them wheeling Hulkamo's car just past you there, Ted. Just looking in the commentary box, it looks like the rain is kind of fizzled out in a little drizzle, Ted. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, ever since
Maybe.
you remarked about
If
why it wasn't
there's enough
such
time,
a
but the
nice
chance
start,
this could all go into a dry finish.
gazebo on top of it, Crofty. That's because it wasn't raining, and it still really isn't raining. It's only a little drizzle, only a little.
It's
light
Hulkamo's
drop
going
here
back
and
now.
there. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's just the MO of the teams. It's like, right, if it's wet, red flag, cars in the pit lane, get your easy ups, get your gazebos up, and then let's go for it. But they don't really need them. It is pretty much still dry. So now it's a matter of deciding which tyres to put out. And that's the other thing, is who's still got some new intermediates left.
Yeah, who's got some new inters left?
Just looking forward over to the only remaining Aston Martin of the race. We haven't talked too much about Fernando Alonso, but he's been going pretty well, hasn't he, in a car that's lacking pace. And he's
Alonso is kind of going well.
A new set of inters are going to go onto the Aston Martin. Cheers, Tim.
So the reason I was asking also about the rain is, if we did 3 or 4 laps behind the safety car, we could have a standing
Yeah, Piastri's getting ready.
if it's not raining anymore. 3 or 4 laps clear some of the standing waterway, and let's have a standing start. I think.
Which I think we'd all prefer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'd prefer a standing start as well.
But if it's not raining anymore, then why not think about that? Ollie Behrman, by the way, has served that penalty. So you know what I was saying? That they will
Behrman served his
hope to serve
penalty.
it at the pit stop. Hope to get their penalties.
Good one,
serve it
Ollie
at the pit
Behrman.
stop, because it'll all close up again. Well, that's happened here. So he will be 15.
Think about ideas on the other channels.
Oscar Piastri.
I'll suggest something down in Fortnite
Yeah.
back in chapter 2, so we'll do that.
He will, if there's another pit stop, he'd serve it then. Or
There's Maxi Verstappen getting ready. 8 minutes to go, and still, the race is back in the way. Actually, he's
He's being hurried along a little bit by his physio there, Rupert Manwaring, as 8 minutes before they get going.
Back to work you go, then, Max. And so far, it's been a highly productive afternoon of work. I should check myself there that we are in the afternoon. It was an early qualifying. It's an early race start. Fair play once again to Formula One and to the FIA for moving the race start so we can actually get some action in before the heavy rain came down. We still might get rain in the afternoon, later in the afternoon. Who knows? But we're 5 to 2 in the afternoon, and we've had 33 laps so far.
Verstappen's still running.
Fernando,
he's still running down the pit lane because he's obviously he's second in the queue.
What he's getting steps in. That's what Max could be doing, getting steps in. There's Ocon. That's what kicks Albers ahead.
Well, yeah, because that would have been lapped.
Yeah.
Joe Granier.
Yeah, and Bottas is the one at the top of the queue, I think. There's Lawson getting back in.
Joining the pack.
Or do they do that on the track?
They'll allow the cars lap to go out first. So he'll unlock himself effectively and then he'll join the back of the queue. So they should all restart on the lead lap.
Oh, Norris is even behind Verstappen, by the way, on the running down the pit lane game. He's still there.
Yeah.
He's still jogging along. I mean, he's leaving it a bit tight, Crofty. If we're talking about starting in 7 minutes, he's still.
You know what it's like, before the drivers have to get to the.
Yeah, Kurt's getting back in his car now.
They've had their comfort breaks. They're all a bit late.
George Russell has a scooter, so he's wheeling his way down.
Look, he's for Osama.
Lewis Hamilton's scooter because Lewis is walking.
One needs to go smash into the World Trade Barrier.
Surely they've got 2 of Mercedes.
This is actually quite.
All he did back in Austin.
We got a great view from the commentary box.
F1 fans who watch Rocket Powered Mohawk will know what I mean. Yeah, the hands device. That's a very good device, F1. It was introduced back in, I think, 2002 or 2003 to help driver safety.
A fair bit. George Russell's arrived on the scene.
There's Osama getting back in his car.
Lance Stroll, we lost on the formation lap, the first one. Alex Albon, we lost after a crash in qualifying. Nico Hulkenberg, we've now lost for a black flag. First driver to get a black flag since 2007 Canadian Grand Prix.
Yeah, when
Giancarlo
Fisichella and Massa,
both went out of the pits under a red light. If you remember,
I think now that'll be a stop go.
So Verstappen now into the warm comfort of his race car. He's got 5 minutes to go.
And we've lost Franco Colapinto, whose accidents.
Yeah, big crash with Colapinto. There's Ocon, the current leader.
Red flag.
If Ocon wins this race, this will be one of the great wins.
So far in the race.
Like winning in one of the worst Alpine/Renault cars of all time.
Plenty of water. I would say it's been plain sailing for Max Verstappen.
Hasn't been.
But he has sailed through the field. He certainly has the wind in his sails compared to qualifying a little earlier.
Yeah. But I think now all this happened. My money for a win's on Max Verstappen.
Until today, they have a driver leading and a driver.
Although I'm not betting. No chance. I don't bet.
From outside the top four.
I've been betting just stupid anyway. There's Pando Pois. Him and McLaren being complete bottle jobs again, even though I'm wearing the under match. He's been a complete bottle job. And it's not really his fault, it's McLaren. Messed up on strategy.
That was the only other time we've had it in the Formula One World Championship. And 4 constructors have won at least 3 races for the first time since 1977. We might get 5 constructors winning a race if Ocon can hold on.
Yeah, can Ocon hold on? I don't think he will, though.
4
minutes.
Is still in the queue, and
wonder where the second kickstarter is, or is Bottas on the lead lap?
Yeah, I was just listening to some team radio there, and I think Verstappen has been told on radio stand and start. We've not got it through in our system yet, but I think there is a chance that this will be a stand and start. They're only going to run and start conditions.
So Zhou Guanyu is actually
and at the minute out there,
I think the only one on
should be dry enough for
not on the lead lap, because Bottas is ahead of Sainz, Perez, and Behrman.
I think the call made just a little bit too early.
There's Hamilton.
Start, see what the weather does, see if it improves a touch, and then take the decision.
And I've got another question for you. Would they have to start on the full wet if they're starting behind the safety car?
For some reason, I thought Max could win the championship today, but I don't think he can.
At this point, they should be fit to choose for themselves.
Because going today, he was like 44 points ahead of Lando.
If it is really, really heavy weather,
if Lando won, then
and
Max didn't finish at the points, then Lando would have been 19 points behind, but 18 behind if he got a faster lap.
That's normal at this point in the race.
George Russell just saying on the team radio tech,
a
rolling start will be more dangerous than a standing start. He would like to be on the grid in P5 and get going.
Why is Russell Peter safety concern? No, it's safety concern. But give the standing start instead, because that would maybe create more havoc.
At least 2 or 3 laps behind the safety car before they
even
choose a rolling start or a
good
standing
start,
start. But
not boring
we've seen it's the norm to do maybe a couple of laps behind the safety car and then a standing start.
Carlos Sainz in 13th.
I'll tell you what a funny moment that's just happened, Crofty, here in the gap.
As long as it didn't involve you telling Nico Hulkenberg he was out of the race.
I tell you what, he took it really well. I think he knew it was coming. That's what made me sort of curious. It was clearly a surprise to Hulkenberg's engineer, but Hulkenberg was, when he was told, was like, I kind of knew that was going to happen. He knows the rules. Experienced campaigner like Hulkenberg.
It's officially, Ted, just 2 seconds. It's officially a rolling start.
Or rolling start. God's sake,
race will resume at 14:06. So that's now in 6 minutes' time, and it will be a rolling start. That's appeared on our timing screen. Make that 14:02 rolling start. Just corrected itself.
The restart time, there's possibly class 1 to 2 rain for 10 minutes, and then nothing after that.
So a light drizzle in McLaren speak. Class 1.
Correct. Come on,
so
give us Ted's funny story.
My colleagues from Viaplay, Dutch TV, and their expert Guido van der Gaard just appeared right next to me in this tiny little postage stamp.
Yeah, obviously Ziggo Sport don't do Formula 1 anymore.
In the gap in the pit lane. And they are
so Zhou's gone out to get on the lead there.
Delight that Max Verstappen is going to win this race. They see that from 17th on the grid, they've been going on about how Max is going to win this race. And do you know what? At that moment, with all respect to Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon, I think they got a pretty good case. Max is in a great position, guys.
Yeah.
Got a much better case than they had at 12:30 when we finally, 12:45
got this
or whatever.
race on the right. I was going to call something.
Let's just clear something up before we go out for another lap behind the safety car. This is Mercedes. on the grid, Ted Kravitz was telling you about this. This is George Russell's car.
Yeah.
Adjusting the tyre pressures while those tyres were bolted on during Chandon, which you're just not allowed to do.
And the McLaren, look at the right side there, the tyres off the car, and they're adjusting it. So that looks like the difference between why Mercedes are being investigated and McLaren.
Yeah.
But both drivers.
There we go. You can see it quite clearly there on the Lewis Hamilton's car.
Yeah.
Both drivers under investigation, along with 3 others, for leaving the grid after the aborted start. That message came out.
Yeah, it's now 2 o'clock local time in Sao Paulo as the safety car goes away again.
Go to our online service, Sky Sports.
This could get restarted by like 35 or so.
The latest news here from Interlagos, if it comes after we come over.
Yeah, our online wizard Nigel Chu will be very busy after the Grand Prix, keeping everyone up to date, I'm sure.
Typed more words this weekend than he's ever typed in a weekend before.
So yeah, Hulkenberg's the last driver since Vizcarra and Massa to get black flag to disqualify in the middle of the race.
Right, here we go.
Not at the very end of the race, like Hamilton and Leclerc last year and Russell in Belgium.
Rolling start coming, so behind the safety car. And Bernd Mailand.
And lucky Hulkenberg won't get stripped of a race win.
Know what the conditions are like. A rolling start doesn't have to be at the end of this first lap. We can have 10 laps or so behind the safety car. Should race control decide that's the safest way to do it?
Yeah,
could do.
Exactly that. But here been
the track's tried a bit, so
in constant communication between, also I think with the team managers, right? So the obviously the safety car driver will be feeding back to race control and Niels Wittich, the race director. Niels Wittich will also be communicating with the team managers who will be getting feedback from the drivers. So there's plenty of information that's coming back, but ultimately it is Niels Wittich as race director who will make that call as to how many laps on the safety car we should do.
Feel quite spread out. And this is the important thing. You might want to.
Yeah.
Hello.
And he can feel that by being out there behind the safety car. He knows they're not new enters.
Yeah.
Also, when the blankets came off, he looked at it and go, they're not new enters. So,
you going already?
Yeah, Ocon seems to back away. Do you think they're going green straight away?
Well, if the lights have gone off on the safety car, then they might be going green straight away.
Already?
They might be just having the one lap here, which is why Esteban Ocon has backed off, and Bernd Mailander has completely disappeared. So that message has got through loud and clear. And when does Esteban Ocon go? When does he make the jump here?
Yeah, when does he
go?
When
do we get this start going once more? It's entirely up to him to choose that. Ollie Behrman just hanging back in the back. That's why Ollie Behrman is at the back. And he's gone off into the grass. He's kept it going. I'll tell you what, though. There's a Sauber behind him as we've got racing once more, and they're struggling to get up the hill, such as the lack of grip on that grass. On the asphalt, though, Esteban Ocon leads them into turn 1. Verstappen too far back to make the overtake.
And Norris too far back to make a move on Gasly.
Ahead of Lando Norris, ahead of George Russell, that's the top 5. Then comes Charles Leclerc. Behind Leclerc, Yuki Tsunoda and Oscar Piastri running quite close to each other. Piastri ahead of Fernando Alonso and Liam Lawson in 10th. As towards the Casino del Lago we go now. The advantage for the car out in front is he's got a clear track to look at. Right behind, they're driving into the spray.
Oh, Norris! No!
Norris! At Casino del Lago, Norris goes off the track, rejoins just ahead of George Russell. And Russell will try and fight this now towards Ferragura. On the inside, Lando Norris has to concede. Russell's
bottle job again.
Ahead.
Wow, so he just locked up there on the braking. Lando came off the brake pedal to let it go wide. It was all a bit strange.
It goes off.
Charles Leclerc. And down the inside, here comes Oscar Piastri. And he thinks he might be able to get past the Ferrari now as well. But they're all struggling for grip. The tyres are cold after a lap on that rolling start. And we see now 2 go off.
Yeah, 2 go off.
Ahead of Joe, rejoins down in 15th, a long way back.
Ocon's broken away, though.
Ocon has.
1.7 seconds over Max Verstappen. And they, in turn, dropped Pierre Gasly by some margin as well. So, brilliant restart here from Esteban Ocon.
Yeah, going
But he's got the clear
restart
track.
for
Yeah,
Ocon.
he had the advantage of judging the start and when he wanted to go, and he's done it absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, but he's put 5 seconds on his teammate in third place. Look at this. Here comes Lewis Hamilton on Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, we'll watch the driver track on this one because you can barely see them on the track. Hamilton moves to the inside and he's ahead of Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, Ocon's streaking away here.
The two drivers that have completed more racing kilometres than any other driver in Formula One, exchanging places into the first corner. Hamilton now 9th, Alonso 10th. Esteban Ocon continues to extend that lead. It's now 2 seconds to Max Verstappen.
Ocon really doing a solid job here.
Yeah, Ocon is.
3, so a full second on the last lap compared to Max Verstappen. And look at the spray going.
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm a bit surprised we didn't do more laps on safety car. And there was no message about safety car coming in either.
There was no communication on that one. The drivers could see little ahead of them, and it might
they can't see
2 or 3 laps just to give them half a chance of seeing where they're going. But
yeah.
you know what? They're not the best drivers in the business for nothing, and they're giving us great entertainment out there on the track.
Yeah, they are.
Down in 9th place. Yuki Tsunoda in 8th. Ahead of him, Tsunoda, who was running in the top 3
Typical
for such a long
goals.
time.
Back to the F1.
Pitting and losing ground after making that pit stop. He's going to have to come back through the field again. Charles Leclerc holding off Oscar Piastri. Max Verstappen still continuing to be that much slower behind Esteban Ocon, who's got that clear track, and the gap now 2.5 seconds as we ride on board with Lewis Hamilton. Can you see a car in front?
No.
Of course you can't see a car in front. There's a red light blinking and flashing. We can just about see it now. That car is Yuki Tsunoda. And Hamilton just driving into a wall of water, quite frankly, and putting his complete trust in the car in front that he hasn't had a problem.
Yeah, it is a really...
Not sure if this will even get dry towards the end. Don't think we even get any slick tire wedding.
Really, trying to get references from things on the side of the track and advertising boards or some marshal posts and lights and things. But we see here the Haas of Ollie Behrman having a little look like Carlos Sainz and choosing to back out of that.
Chasing down Carlos Sainz for 13th place. At the moment, you've got to stay in this race because there's so much can happen. We're just beyond the halfway distance.
Behrman.
Just as I say, you've got to stay in the race, go spinning off and into the barriers.
You can keep it going.
And that was maybe just a little bit too much ambition there for Ollie Behrman, and the addition was just lacking for him. And at Ferragura, he heads off into the barriers, but he's kept that car going. They replaced his front wing during the red flag. They might need to try and find another one for him as he gets back onto the track and rejoins in 16th and last.
It's been a bit of a scrappy race for him. He'd be disappointed.
Yeah, try going.
He got very close behind Sainz, then ran wide off the line where he was taking Sainz on the water. And at that point, the rear of the car, there was no way he was going to get it stopped. So, an unforced error. There's no other way to describe that.
Hamilton a bit closer to Tsunoda on this particular occasion. Half thought about a little move there. As, like an eel that's been dipped in oil. Yuki Tsunoda has that little grip coming out of the first corner.
It's weird, right? The pace early on looked good. He was running in third place. But ever since the restart, I don't know if it's on this set of tyres or something, but Tsunoda doesn't seem to have the pace. He's 4 seconds now behind Piastri.
But he was running in free air, wasn't he, behind Lando Norris and George Russell. There was a big gap to the front too.
But he's got a big gap in front of him now to Piastri, was what I mean. And he's still...
Yeah, so that's Hamilton. Nearly went off.
Over a second. So his pace isn't there.
And out in front, 3.5 seconds, the gap between Esteban Ocon and Max Verstappen, who I'm sure would love to win this race, but so far, so good for him in terms of the championship battle.
Yeah, so good. So far, so good for Max and Bad.
Lando Norris down in 5th. He's going to advance his lead by 8 points after this Sao Paulo Grand Prix, which, as I say, a fairly long way to go here.
Yeah, still 31 laps to go.
Yeah, Gasly. George Russell asking where Esteban Ocon's braking because he can't quite see the apex. It's actually Gasly, the car in front, the Alpine. You can't even see which Alpine it is. Such is the spray for George Russell. Lando Norris runs 5th. Charles Leclerc 6th, then Oscar Piastri, and then this battle. Yuki Tsunoda and Lewis Hamilton towards the centre as we go again. Hamilton has to stay behind.
What a day.
Verstappen 10 seconds for Lando.
On and finish. in this order. Team,
Yellow.
40 points dropping. We've only got 16 all through the season so far.
I know, they'll be pushing Aston Martin at this rate. As
Never
Ollie
mind.
Behrman goes off again, this time.
Behrman went off again.
South. If they scored, you say 40 points, it would take them up to 56. They'd only be 30 points behind Aston Martin with 3 races to go.
And take them ahead of Haas, which is obviously where the money's paid. At the moment, they're behind Haas in the Constructors'
Take
Championship.
them ahead of Haas, RB, and Williams.
Yeah, well.
Is Ollie Behrman, who is
That's why Behrman went off, locked up.
There, to be fair.
He is having a miserable race.
Yeah, Behrman is.
It's,
If there's a dry race, Behrman
it's all
will
gone
probably be alright,
smoothly
but
for the first 2
not in the
races
wet.
for Ollie Behrman, in the Grand Prix, but Interlagos is really testing him ahead of his full debut season next year. There's Sergio Perez. Carlos
Yeah, it's testing Behrman for his full debut. Yeah, next year, where he's in the Haas car.
And once again, Sergio Perez
And Malcolm will be alongside him.
will have battle resumed. Bernie Collins looking at me at Sky Race Control. Do you want to come in?
I was just going to mention on Oliver Behrman then. We've seen him go off, and you know what's happened there is you have one off the track, you really lose a lot of tyre temperature, then you struggle to get that tyre temperature back. So
Sainz and Perez here.
of dropping tyre temperature, having a little spin.
Also, these two collided in
So
Azerbaijan not too long
I
ago.
wonder if it comes a point where they just need to box him for a hot set of inters.
Just what I was going to say. Hit him then. Make it a little bit easier. Because you never know, we might get another safety car, we might get another red flag at these sort of conditions, and he might be able to.
There's no red flag when the race is done.
Back straight. Can't mess as Alonso, Lawson, Perez, and Sainz.
Team radio.
If the weather stays as it does, we think it'll be these tyres to the end. So it'll be about tyre condition and racing cars on track.
So at the moment, Ocon's pace is down back into the 124s, maybe, which is kind of where we saw it because the track was at its best before that big rain shower. I think Verstappen.
Oh, Sainz.
Something. Ocon's best lap
Oh,
earlier.
and there in the barriers is a Ferrari.
It's Sainz.
And it's Carlos Sainz who's gone on.
I spotted that first.
And we've got a safety car deployed here.
Safety car deployed.
What does that do? Ocon and Verstappen have moved past the pit entry, as has Gasly.
Matt, what do the drivers do?
Oh, there's big damage there for Carlos
Yeah, you can't
Sainz
give that out.
safety car. Might be here for a while. No one's choosing to pit. We've only had
It's not big damage, so he should be able to get out.
I think it's shown so far that actually overtaking is pretty hard in this condition of visibility. So I think track position is proving vital. Ironically, this is a track where in the dry, overtaking is actually easier than at most others.
Carlos Sainz, our race winner in Mexico,
Is out of the race.
and bringing out the safety car here, crashing. Sadly for him on lap 40 out of 60.
This Watchalong could go on for a while, guys.
And he joins Stroll and Colapinto as having his second crash of the day, isn't it? Because he also ended qualifying against the barrier. Oh, is he driving off?
He was driving off.
He cut to the replay, but I thought I saw him driving up again.
He was.
Yeah.
So
there
just
he
touch the
touched the curb.
braking, touch the curb. Oh dear. He was
That's a
facing,
big
he was
one.
facing outwards from the barriers. He's obviously kept the
Yeah,
engine going. I thought for all the world that he was out of the race.
Yeah, he tried to brake.
Yeah, there
There
wasn't much
I think
suspension
the
damage,
front
so he can get it back to
suspension
the
would be
garage.
too badly damaged for him to carry on
He
driving.
has parked up. I can see it on our track.
Oh, he's parked up, never
Yeah,
mind.
he's parked up on the side of the track. Oh dear. Carlos Sainz, not what he wanted
No,
at all.
it's not what Sainz wanted at all.
Yeah, you can see the rear damage as well. So yeah, no chance of it.
Yeah.
I'm told, by the way, behind this safety car, last double podium for Team Edstone was when they were Team Lotus and not Alpine. Kimi Räikkönen and
Roman Grosjean.
in the 2013 South Korea Grand Prix,
Yeah.
driving the car that Ted and I have both had a go in.
Yeah, the young Gam circuit I was at when Vettel got his fourth win in a row out of 9. But it was so much better than this. That was Vettel's second Grand Slam in a row. I'll spoil that if anyone has seen that Grand Prix.
Wow, I mean, and for all of those, new team principal. This is uncharted territory with a 1-3.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a team and an organisation. They've not had a lot of good news in the last.
Next year it'll be Jack Doohan, the son of Mick Doohan, and Pierre Gasly in that car.
You know, not good news on the engine front. Lots of sort of negative news stories. But this will be such a morale boost for everybody involved there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Jeremy Clarkson's local team. He's brought the beers down to Edstone.
Yeah, Jeremy Clarkson. I didn't know he was his local team.
A truckload of his beer heading for a celebratory Friday afternoon after this race. Holly Oaks sat next to him with the plate actually coming over here.
Jeremy Clarkson in Brazil. I didn't know he was.
Things could look rosy next lap. We're almost together. Anything can happen. Still a very, very long way to go. Keep your head down. Keep focused. 29 laps remaining.
It's the message to every driver.
Yeah.
It really should be from their race engineer. But Holly's rather.
Yeah, everyone needs that message.
Afternoon, injecting a little bit of fun to the equation, giving people a bit of a treat.
Just think about it. Kick Sauber. If a few of the drivers retire, they can get their first point of the year.
28 laps or so are going to be very, very nervy.
Oh, absolutely. And
I mean, it is obvious now Viagra finished last this season. There's no way they're going to get 16.
in this race.
There's no way they're going to get 20 plus points in the last 3 rounds. No matter how slow that car is, unless something incredible happens.
There's been lots of offs. Most of them are white lines.
Stay off.
And
Yeah,
an
that's the
interesting
message to everyone.
It's a new surface, but it's also
That's another message to everyone. Stay off the white lines.
Now, the FIA do mandate.
Unless, you know, you're under safety car conditions and you're in slow then.
I-
That's probably
it
a
does seem
different course.
honestly, in my experience, I remember having all these conversations with Charlie Whiting at various tracks, where he keep telling me how we've got this new paint and it's great. And I keep saying to him, I still think it's really slippery. And he said, no, but the study says it's the same as the asphalt.
Yeah, this watch wants to go on for maybe 2 hours and 30 at this rate.
Lap 42 of 60.
Boring! Get the race going again.
Esteban Ocon
Get in. I know why they bought the safety car out.
in Formula One, the Hungarian Grand Prix.
I might just do that every time that was a boring race. Just do
Crazy
that.
afternoon in Formula One in 2021, where Lewis Hamilton was the only
Then it shows that we're above then.
restart. They all piled into the pits. This after Valtteri Bottas had got 10 pit bowling with a Formula One car. And
Yeah.
it just opened up for
When
Ocon.
Bottas went bowling in Hungary.
There is another band of rain potential for the end of the race.
Yeah.
Well, when
Safety car's
George
ending.
Russell and Lando Norris pitted, it opened up for Ocon once again here. And he is a man with his
Yeah.
head down.
Last time we won,
To get
the
going
only time we
at
won was
the
when
end of
Bottas
this
went
lap
bowling in
to
Hungary
try and take
2021
that
and took
second win.
Lando and nearly took out both Red Bulls and Lando. So he was in Mercedes car before he got replaced by George.
On the Alpine.
And next year we're going to have one of the youngest laps like grid, Antonelli and Russell.
Absolutely loving this, having P1 and
I'm
P2.
pretty sure that could be the youngest driver on the grid.
Perez saying that he can't see
Have a look.
anything behind
Have a
Lawson,
think.
but that'll be interesting on the restart. Watch out for those two.
Nah, I think Norris and Piastri are the
He's
youngest.
led more than one lap in a race. Esteban Ocon, he went and won it. That race
Yeah.
in Hungary.
And Antonelli's the youngest driver on the grid. So yeah.
And he has led the field away for a rolling
Because
start.
Auckenberg's scared the
After
one of the oldest to
safety
kick
car
Sauber, and then they go about McLaren Academy driver.
Once before this afternoon. So Max Verstappen weaving around, trying to get some temperature into those tyres and Ocon controlling the pace and letting Bert Mylander go. He's going to get racing once again. And it's keeping calm whilst also trying to be aggressive.
Yeah, try and stay calm, Esteban, and be aggressive when you need to
As and
on Maxi
when
Pad
it might
Verstappen.
come. No overtaking, of course, before they get to the line. So Max Verstappen has to try and keep back. And Pierre Gasly is keeping quite a long way back.
Yeah,
He's gonna
Verstappen's
try
got a
and
new engine,
anticipate
so he'll
where
go
the
for it.
jump is coming here and just gain a little bit of speed from a little bit further back so that he can get going and mount a challenge to Max Verstappen. And now they go. And
Yeah.
Pierre Gasly did not get that done whatsoever. And George Russell might have caught him napping a little bit. And here comes Charles Leclerc on the inside of Lando Norris. And there goes Max Verstappen.
Oh, Norris! No!
And Lando Norris goes straight
Verstappen in the lead.
Verstappen takes the lead of the race from Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly. Then comes Charles Leclerc, then George Russell, then Oscar Piastri, and Lando Norris down into 7th.
Damn it!
Wow, it all kicked off at that restart. Charles Leclerc went down the inside, and Norris just got the rear car swerving.
Alonso.
Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah, onto the grass as well as Tsunoda ahead of Alonso. Hamilton now ahead of Liam Lawson. in
Gasly's still
10th place.
third.
But that was a disastrous restart for Lando Norris.
It was.
The perfect restart for Max Verstappen, who leads this race now on lap 43.
Absolutely seize the initiative.
There's Lawson, Hamilton off.
Alonso wide, Lewis Hamilton wide. But it looks like Yeah, they're still going. Okay, but the beneficiary there was Liam Lawson. He's up now into 9th place.
Yeah.
Mercedes taking time once again to get his temperatures up on tyres and brakes. Perez has gone past Hamilton. Ollie Behrman has now got past Hamilton. Behrman up into 12th place. Hamilton, those fighting that one back. Through Magnolia they go. They nearly touch the Mercedes and the Haas. Round the outside and jumps out. Off goes Fernando
Alonso off.
So he's disappeared from the point, so we can ride on board with George
He's spun, I think.
He's up into 5th place now. Lando Norris going straight on at the first corner, and he could just about see where the car in front of Charles Leclerc is braking, and already Max Verstappen has pulled out 1.5 seconds on Esteban Ocon. The benefit of clear air in front of you, no spray to drive into, is evident for all to see.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so Verstappen now in an
Max will win this now.
17th to the lead. That
It'll be his 8th win,
16th to 2nd from 2016. As you said, 1.6 seconds now. So really, this is now about Verstappen getting into rhythm, getting into a comfortable pace, and just staying there ahead of Verstappen. While Norris, Piastri will get out of his way fairly compliantly, but as we see the replay, top right corner trophy of Fernando Alonso, it just went off by himself. I think.
Yeah. No, he didn't. Yeah, he did.
The scrap was going on behind him.
But the Alpines are working well in these conditions.
There we are.
Leclerc's not all over the back of Gasly, is he? So you'd have to say the Alpines have got a setup that seems to be working well for the wet conditions.
That's probably why Alpine are doing so well around here.
When Esteban Ocon got everybody underway, Max Verstappen wasn't caught napping. No one's won from 17th on the grid here before. Lewis Hamilton won it from 10th in 2021, and that's the lowest grid spot for a race winner. And Verstappen now 2 seconds clear of Esteban Ocon. Pierre Gasly in 3rd place, ahead of Charles Leclerc. Leclerc under a little bit of pressure from George Russell. Lando Norris behind his teammate Oscar Piastri.
Yeah, Norris being a bottle job again.
His championship challenge faltering in the Drivers' Championship here this afternoon. McLaren could well do with a few more points in the Constructors' Championship, but we're going to go with 3 races to go to Vegas, to Qatar and Abu Dhabi. Norris will have an awful lot to do if it stays this way.
Yeah, we have to remind people that that investigation for the start procedure is still hanging over Norris's head, and Verstappen, as we say, this is the replay. Look, first we have Russell attacking Gasly, then Leclerc down the inside of Norris, who just
Ocon is expecting that.
I think he got slightly unsighted by George being in front of him. Leclerc is a big beneficiary there. He gained on Lando and George, 2 cars in one move, and in the end, Lando rejoined behind his teammate.
He wasn't moving out of the way of Charles Leclerc, but I think he was giving a lot of distance between Leclerc on the inside and himself. And in moving across, he lost the rear a little bit.
Yeah, I think he didn't realise how close to the corner perhaps they were, or how slow George would be. And I think just at that point, he sort of thought, oh, God, running in the back of George.
Now Max Verstappen's going quicker than ever.
Just locked up the rear, slid away from the race line on the right.
New fastest lap of the race for Max Verstappen. 3 seconds the gap between himself and Esteban Ocon. Pierre Gasly still running in 3rd place. Let's go back down the field. Sergio Perez riding on board as well through that first corner.
Swap position.
In 10th behind Liam Lawson.
That's what Piastri's been told.
Swapping positions going on with that one, but the 2 McLaren drivers told to swap positions now. Piastri complies, as he did in the sprint race yesterday, allows Lando Norris through and up into 6th place.
Yeah, it's the right thing to do. Lando's shown more pace.
Russell's going over Leclerc.
Well, this Grand Prix. Remember earlier, Piastri got stuck behind Lawson, for example. So let's see if Norris can make some progress here.
Like a Max and match point in Vegas.
Meanwhile, his teammate George Russell ahead of Charles Leclerc, running now in 4th place. And Charles Leclerc under pressure from Lando Norris, who just got to stick to it as close as he possibly can here and try and pick up a slipstream down the main straight, which is not the easiest thing to do, not when you can't see.
Yeah, that's what Lando has to do.
Accelerate up to their faster speeds to try and stick behind them and pick your braking point. Charles Leclerc has been noted for rejoining the track unsafely at turn 4.
Leclerc's been
by
noted.
Control. That might get sent to the stewards, who are surely working more overtime than they ever imagined would be possible. Charles Leclerc looks in his mirrors. Lando Norris isn't close enough.
Yeah.
Oscar Piastri still in 7th.
Yeah, but Lando just moving to the left to get a bit of visibility there as well, a bit of clean air onto the front wing. He's close to Charles, and I get the sense he's quicker than Charles if he can get ahead.
This, I think, is where he's got a better chance, but Leclerc's already covered that up by just moving over towards the inside, halfway down that straight.
Yeah, he hasn't got the straight line speed, has he?
Let's see Charles Leclerc. This is where he went off the track.
Always took the
down
wide.
Turn 4, and where I think he's conceded that place to George Russell.
Yeah.
So runs wide. There's the Mercedes on the inside. We've seen that before in the race.
Yeah.
We saw
Ollie Behrman and Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, and also I think we saw, Lando going off there earlier and rejoining the track. And
But
as long as you've left the car's width on the left.
It was a carbon copy, it looked like to me there, of when Hamilton went off and Behrman scooted down the inside.
Yeah, I wonder if that's a bit of McLaren complaining, trying to get the position swapped with Leclerc and give
a max penalty again.
Could be wrong, but I don't see that being a penalty. I really don't.
Yeah, I agree. So up at the front now, the Alpines have settled into a rhythm, haven't they? They pulled away from George Russell. He's over.
If that'll eliminate Leclerc from the title fight, I will. If stays as it is.
Massively impressed with the Alpine pace in these conditions. Really, really. In the dry, when we had the sprint, the sprint yesterday morning, it was. They didn't look anything special, but as soon as the rains come down, the cars look very competitive.
You asked me, didn't you, who I fancied for qualifying? I meant for the race when I said Vive la France a little earlier. And Vive la France it is. Last time we had two French drivers finish on the podium, 1997 in Spain, Olivier Panis and Jean Alesi.
Yeah.
Wow. Second and third.
Panis and Jean Alesi. Jean Alesi was something to watch back in the day, from what I heard.
For later, Lando goes a touch wide.
Yeah, Pando probably going right again, the bottle job.
Away in that particular corner at Lorania earlier in this race.
Every time his fans tell him to be a bottle job, he just decides to do it.
Come to the acceleration bits, but
Also,
behind
we're not
Sergio Perez, still trying to make an impression on Liam Lawson. This is for double points.
Stepping out again.
Getting one at the moment, but also to show Red Bull that he is the man for that seat for next year, and he doesn't want to go anywhere, and he wants to stay in that seat. But they're looking at other drivers.
Yeah, they are.
Potentially, Sergio Perez might not be in Formula One for next year. He needs to be making more of an impression in races because that's what Red Bull are demanding of him.
Yeah.
Once again, Perez close but not close enough, going into turn 1 to try and get past the RB.
And he's stuck there, two drivers who are chasing his seat. Verstappen's checked out the front of. He's on two fastest laps in a row. Last one, half a second quicker than anyone else can do. And it was George Russell, in fact, second fastest. But just in contrast, Verstappen at 22.2, Lando Norris at 23.9, 1.7 seconds.
Just not working for Lando Norris in this, what we think is the final stage of this race. But there's still 21 laps to go. There still could be a safety car. There still could be a red flag. Anything could happen here. I'm looking at the clock. We've got 45 minutes during which this race must get done, Ted Kravitz. Otherwise, it ends early.
Yeah, you're right. I know, but it really has become a case of damage limitation now for Lando Norris. A couple of key incidents.
Verstappen, please just stop with this fastest laps.
Key mistakes from Lando Norris making the difference. Crucially, as he seeks to get some pace, he's still slower than Charles Leclerc in front of him. And even if Norris thinks, or McLaren think, that Russell in P4 is going to get a penalty for the tyre pressures thing, then he does need to still try and make it past Leclerc, does Norris. But at the moment, Leclerc is comfortable with the tyres that he's on, comfortable keeping the pace, and Leclerc going well as they try to get nearer to Gasly, but they can't, can they?
I have to say, after this race, and Bernie, I'd love to get your take on this, but when you look back at a race like this, it must be so hard for the engineers and the drivers to try and even this. I mean, I know from a driving perspective, so much happens that you don't see because you have such a myopic view from the cockpit. It must be really confusing to try and debrief and dissect.
Yeah, it's really confusing.
So Max will win now.
Because we've got this combination of data. We've got the TV screen, we've got our race trace, which I'm looking through here. We've got the radar, we've got the driver radio. So much to bring together when you have to replay it all together to realize which decisions you made.
Got the title over for Lando then.
What could have been done differently or
Sad
said
to
differently
see.
at all the different points through the race.
Since the summer break, Max Verstappen hasn't finished within 19 seconds of the leader of the race. The way he's going at the moment, he might win this one by 19 seconds. He is flying out in front. Charles Leclerc, no further investigation for that rejoining unsafely. Not a surprise.
Yeah, there's no point getting him
The
penalty for that.
slightest on that one.
As it would have been too soft to give a
8
penalty.
tenths of a second ahead of Lando Norris. You just missed it going through your screen there as the camera picked up the two Papayas, the two McLarens running in 6th and in 7th, which is not after the sprint race 1-2 yesterday. What they expected here this afternoon, a race that could have been their 50th 1-2 finish in Formula One.
Yeah, could have been.
But it has unravelled really since the start, since what should have been the start of the race. Keep reminding you, Lando Norris under investigation for a starting procedure infringement, and that might cost him a time penalty further.
Yeah, I mean, we stood on the grid and said he's starting first, Verstappen starting 17th. This is a pivotal day in the championship, and there's a chance for a big swing in points. I didn't expect to be seeing such a big swing going the other way, I have to be honest. I thought Verstappen would come through because we know he is exceptionally good in the wet. But if you told me he was going to win and Norris would finish 6th, that's not what I would have expected.
The only thing that might be concerning Max Verstappen at the moment is that he's been told by his double yellow as off goes Oscar Piastri.
That's Piastri. Fires Lando.
For one moment, that could have seen him going way further, and he's under pressure though from Yuki Tsunoda behind him.
Tsunoda behind Piastri.
A brilliant slipstream here. Pulls out to the right-hand side. He's got the pace on this straight. Piastri's compromised. Piastri's got the inside line.
Piastri's good.
Piastri
Trying to defend.
a little bit later too, and manages to hang on.
Piastri stays ahead of Tsunoda.
Oh dear.
I found if Lando does get a 5-second penalty, just give him some breathing space.
Yeah, so Oscar Piastri just managing to stay ahead there. Yuki Tsunoda, the one behind him, that just caught me by surprise. I looked at the names on the side. Well, that's not Liam Lawson behind Oscar Piastri. What's going on?
No, he lost about 3 seconds, Oscar, didn't he? Yeah. So you can see the gaps open up the Lando. Norris is stuck. I do think he's got more pace in that McLaren than Charles Leclerc, but he's just kind of stuck there. Here we go. Here's the front left lock.
Yeah, the lock-up.
And he steers off wide, 2.83 precisely. He's got badly on that.
We like to get accuracy here. We certainly try. Max Verstappen just been told a bit more water. Your front right is hitting peak temperature, so try and keep those tyres cooled down a bit. If he is trying to find a bit of water, it's not affecting his pace. 6.7 seconds. The gap between himself and Esteban Ocon. George Russell is coming back though a little bit at Pierre Gasly. The gap 1.1 seconds there. Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris, both off the track a couple of times during this race. 3 strikes, and then you get the black and white flag, and then you get a penalty after that. So that's worth keeping an eye on. And behind Leclerc and Norris, Piastri ahead of Tsunoda and Lawson and Sergio Perez in the top 10. But just 1 point so far for Sergio Perez, who's stuck right behind Liam Lawson.
And a weather update on lap 60. We expect class 1 to class 2 rain to last for about 4 laps.
Remind me again, because I prefer simple English. Class 1, heavy. Class 1, light drizzle.
I think it's 1 is light and then it ramps upwards, isn't it?
Yeah.
It gets more and more intense. So
I think it is that way.
So think of it as a little, winter drizzle at the start and then slightly ramping up.
So why that's heavy again. He's coped with far heavier this weekend so far. Right, Perez, Lawson, in between Lawson and Hamilton.
Well, I think they're telling him because they want him to keep the tyres alive for when it does rain, he keeps tread on it. But he's got to use I think he's got to use the tyres in any way he can to get ahead of the Leclerc and then sort it out. I mean, track position is proving pretty vital, just purely from a visibility standpoint and nothing else.
And he should be saving on fuel because we've had the laps behind the safety car, and the race has been run at a much slower pace there than normal. There goes Perez down the inside from a long way back, but even Sergio Perez trying to
I think Red Bull probably say to him, we don't want a safety car race, check out.
Back to do that, but that's kind of That's almost the desperation brought on by it being that much more difficult to overtake here in the rain. But that's what you've got to try if you're in a position like Sergio Perez.
There's Hamilton behind.
Trying to move up into ninth spot. And that's maybe the sort of thing that Lando Norris is going to have to try and do behind Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, isn't it crazy? What wet day we get. All of a sudden, RB got 2 cars at the points now. Okay, they got 2 of these cars breathing down Lawson's neck, but 2 cars at the points. Haas, who had a great run of points, and now out of the points scoring positions. Alpine look good. It's crazy. And this is what is amazing about Formula 1, right?
Yeah.
You get these wild and wacky races every once in a while.
I can't because I get copyright striked. I get asked that over the times, but I can't because then Sky Sports will block it, and therefore will block it.
A day like today, now in front, 7.7 seconds. The gap is Stappen over.
No offense, unless not.
Yeah,
I hate getting that question all the time.
3.5 seconds behind his teammate. He's keeping George Russell at bay though. Open up another couple of tenths advantage on the previous lap. As here goes Sergio Perez once again, running through the spray to try and get the inside line this time.
On the inside of Lawson.
Lawson's not giving this.
There's a bit of contact, it looks like.
Perez has
they
to
touch wheels.
And here comes Lewis Hamilton.
Now Hamilton
with a much faster speed
to pick up the pieces.
The curve in a soul to try and make an impression, but Sergio Perez had better traction.
To say Lawson was much less compliant with Perez than he was with Max Verstappen. Oh,
Perez wide.
Perez got wide. Perez went wide at Descida Delano, and that's a lot of Lewis Hamilton through.
Hamilton through.
So, dear. I mean, I just think, after this hairpin here earlier in the race, he practically waved Max through, didn't he, Lawson? But clearly
that's what Lawson did. Waved Max through.
Sergio Perez that started in Mexico has carried on here.
Wow. So Liam Lawson survives at 9th. Hamilton moves up to 10th. Sergio Perez is going to have to try again. And we're on lap 56 of 69, which by my calculations has taken us, the last lap actually, above 75% race distance. So whatever happens from here, 4 points will be scored.
Yeah.
If the race ended and wasn't resumed, 4 points will be awarded today. That incident between Perez and Lawson has been noted. They did touch, so that's why the race director has noted those 2 drivers. Ted, to you.
Yeah, and how important will that be both for Max Verstappen's Drivers' Championship and Alpine's Constructors' Championship that we're getting 4 points today? Crofty, can I do a new strand? I'm going to call it unnoticed and potentially insignificant triumph of the day. And that is awarded today. It's awarded today to Fernando Alonso, who you remember slid off, didn't he? About 15 laps ago after the Sainz restart, and he was nearly 20 seconds behind the Sauber of Zhou Guanyu, and over those laps he has closed down. Something drove into the side of me.
Sergio Perez drove into the side of Liam Lawson, according to Liam Lawson.
Alonso, unnoticed, has cut that deficit completely. I know it's only gaining on a Sauber, but brilliant job from Alonso. He's about to overtake Zhou for last running position, having overcome a 15 to 16 second deficit to the Sauber. Great recovery from Alonso. Yes, it's not unnoticed by me, but it might be insignificant, but it is a triumph of the day.
Ted, I'm going to send you a challenge. See if you can go tell Fernando Alonso's story and see how much he cares about finishing 14th place and second last on the road.
Yeah, but he did it. He completely obliterated the 15, 16 second deficit. So I hope he's enjoying himself.
I'm sure he's absolutely loving it. And I can't wait for the notebook interaction between yourself and Fernando Alonso as you introduce that new strand as well. Come on, do it. 9 seconds out in front.
Yeah, looks like Verstappen's got this.
10-race run without winning. It's his longest since an 11-race streak in 2020. It's coming to an end here.
Yeah, looks like it.
No one else is making an impression on Esteban Ocon. On Max Verstappen, I should say.
Yeah.
Ocon and Gasly will be very satisfied with a second and
they will
third.
be.
George Russell running in 4th, Charles Leclerc 5th, and then the McLaren duo of Norris and
Verstappen again, now at the 121s.
All the way through the race. If you're just joining us, you probably need reminding again. Lando Norris, who started this race on pole, is one of a number of drivers under investigation for an infringement for maybe leaving the grid when they shouldn't after the first start was aborted, and that will be discussed in the stewards' room after this race. So what has been a very bad afternoon for McLaren could get even worse after this race has been completed. On board with Lewis Hamilton now, who had a much better time, I'm sure, driving Ayrton Senna's old McLaren than he has been driving his Mercedes in this race today. It's still going for the overtakes.
I bet he must have.
Now trying to get Liam Lawson.
No, we're bouncing on Mercedes. And
don't forget Mercedes was also under investigation for that tyre pressure infringement as well. So there's a good chance that the order we see at the checkered flag is in the order in a few hours after the race. In the meantime, let's enjoy what we are seeing on track before checkered flag. Liam Lawson now under pressure from Hamilton. Perez has dragged himself as well into this little battle after his excursion into the runoff at turn 4. So Lawson is taking a lot of pressure in this race. With it pretty admirably as Hamilton goes wide out there.
And this is going to allow Sergio Perez to get back almost wheel to wheel. Hamilton drifts over to the right-hand side, as you can see. And Perez was wise to that, wanting to try and dive down the inside now. This is super scraps going on for the last scraps of the points. And Hamilton struggling with the handling of his car, with bouncing, with just no grip out there, is desperately clinging on to 10th place here in Interlagos and desperately trying to make it 2 points for finishing 9th as he chases after Liam Lawson once again. Sergio Perez would just like something to go his way from time to time.
So remember, Will Jones said there's more rain expected on lap 60.
Not much pressure on my time.
So we'll keep an eye on that and see. Bernie, have you got anything on the radar?
Not one to disagree, but my radar doesn't have that rain. So let's see, we've got 9 laps left. At the minute, north of the track looks pretty clear, I would say. That's where all the rain's been coming from. There have been blanks in the radar there, but for me, I think there's a potential that this race is drying now to the end of the race.
No further investigation. Perez and Lawson for the incidents at turn 2.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think, it's fair enough, really. Perez saw a gap, went for it, and then they sort of spotted a bit, but I think it was fine.
Again.
Another fastest lap for Max Verstappen.
When we stop with those fastest laps.
Lapping in the 1 minute 21s. Currently 10.5 seconds clear. Out in front.
It's a masterclass.
Yep.
Absolute masterclass here from Max. I mean, not only has he gone from 17th to 1st, but he's also got a 10-second lead over the rest of the pack. In a race where I've been saying quite a lot about how it's difficult to overtake, it's tricky with visibility, it's hard to make the moves. He's made a lot of those moves.
No, I think so.
Did 7 of them on the opening lap.
I'm not think he would. And now this way, knowing what's happened today. Because then we had Vegas, Sprint in Qatar, then main race in Abu Dhabi, and that's about
and it's the
75 plus 78, and then 86. And Max has the match point in Vegas, and there's probably no chance that he's going to win all his races. So I'd say it's Gamma and Fernando. So you never know.
The conundrum of Max Verstappen a little bit there. With this excellence,
I think at a race today, I think he'll just stay in P6.
A stubborn resilience, a belligerence almost. That whilst can be thought of as admirable, because he's never changed one iota from when he first came in. Sometimes, if you are getting penalised for it, you do have to change your ways a little bit, or it keeps happening.
Yeah, exactly that. But he's just reeling off the fastest laps. At will here, 8 laps to go, and he's just done another lap, extending that lead. So he's taking another 8/10 out of Esteban Ocon.
Pierre Gasly never finished on the podium twice at a venue on the Formula One calendar. He's been on the podium here.
There's Hamilton 10th, chasing Lawson.
P2 in a great drag all the way to the line, but he's trying to hold off the other Mercedes of George Russell currently.
So Alpine jumped, Coffee, from 9th to 6th in the Constructors' World Championship.
Yeah. That's what Alpine will do this way.
Is a $50 million race.
Yeah.
That's simply.
It technically is Alpine.
A one-off result in a wet day in Sao Paulo Tech Rapids is going to be worth $50 million if they can, of course,
His first wet
hold on to that
race
sixth place
that
at
we've
the end
had
of the
since
season.
Yes, if it
Canada, I
stays,
believe.
through like that, like for Las Vegas, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi.
And obviously, we had, although we did have a bit of rain in Silverstone as well.
Award of the day, Crofty. It's
Another one.
yeah. I've thought of take a day off of the day award, and that is, do you know who I'm going to award it to? Which no, we were just talking about them. It's the Alpine pit crew.
Oh,
Because they have not made a pit stop.
they haven't.
2 seconds, Ted.
Oscar behind you has a 10-second penalty. We want, therefore, you to get close to Leclerc. You watching TikTok here?
Yeah, so well done to the Alpine scratchers. They held out. They didn't make a pit stop. They changed both Ocon and Gasly's tyres in the red flag.
Yeah, they did.
And so take a day off of the day award goes to the Alpine pit crew. They didn't
Yeah, it's like they took a day off.
Bravo.
I mean, we get second and third.
The crew did make a stop for Sergio Perez, of course. If Oscar Piastri's got a penalty to serve, why don't they let him pass Lando Norris, try and get closer to Charles Leclerc? Because he's
That's
still
what
got
I'm
that
thinking.
10-second penalty, and if he can't do it, swap him around.
They got that penalty for the Thatcher Lawson.
I think that's a coded message. I think they're being very careful there. I said, Piastri has a penalty. Underline, you're under investigation for the beginning.
Got
of
Piastri
the race.
down at 8.
So let you get as close, try and make your gap. Penalties are being handed out. There's no other reason that they would want Norris to finish well ahead of Piastri than his own impending, potentially, penalty.
10 seconds for Oscar Piastri, which at the moment would drop him down behind Liam Lawson.
Max pad out again.
So finishing down
121.0.
Well, I think it's quite close, Coffee.
To be fair, it is quite unreal what he's doing.
Be between Lawson and it'll be between Lawson and Tsunoda. I think it's at the moment, isn't it? Yeah, it'll be a second ahead of Lawson.
Looking at the timing screen.
Yeah, he's 29 versus 40. So anyway, we'll see at the end. We'll see in 6 laps time. But at the moment, there's 11 seconds between Piastri and Lawson. There's 6 plus 5 there, so we'll see how that plays out.
Let's go by the time screen at the end of lap 62. That's why we have that. Which said Max Verstappen 13.3 seconds in front, 13.6 now. Here's Lewis Hamilton once again trying to make a move on Liam Lawson towards the first corner. We
Lawson's
go.
been quite resilient today in defence.
He's got the last few laps, but he still can't squeeze past. Lawson stays exactly where he is.
And this is important for Piastri, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, if
Good fall behind
Lawson with the
Hamilton.
defensive driving, that could help.
Outstanding penalty. Pull that again.
There's that outstanding penalty. The confirmation for Oscar Piastri for the contact.
Gave it to Maxi Pad in Mexico.
Yes. Oh, it's been a long day.
First time we've had to get up at 4:30 for quite some time. I have every sympathy for those that do it on a regular basis.
But it's, it's been such a tough day. You'd imagine, like you think of the Williams mechanics and stuff, right? There's so much has happened in their day, and so much yet to do because they got to put that car back in a state where they can tank it away in the fray. So,
At the end of a thoroughly exhausting triple header as well, there's a lot of tired minds, a lot of tired limbs as well. We'll be heading to an airport over the next couple of days. I'm sure the drivers feeling the fatigue, but one man who's gone through a fair bit in Austin and in Mexico is going to come out at the end of this America's triple header with his championship lead very, very much intact on the day. As I said earlier, that he breaks Michael Schumacher's record for the most consecutive days in the lead of a drivers' championship. Max Verstappen will be extending that lead, and by quite some margin. He currently has 26 points in this race. Lando Norris has 8, so be another 18 points, and that's before the stewards rule on whether Lando Norris will get a penalty for the starting procedure.
It's days like this, isn't it, where it underlines why Max Verstappen is on his way to a 4th World Championship, and why in a car which hasn't been the fastest car since probably April or May, he's still leading the World Championship by some margin.
Yeah, Gasly moving over. Maybe he hunted for a bit of water earlier down the straight. The Constructors' Championship table as it stands. Alpine moving into 6th place. Wow. Like, a lot of people very happy at Edstone and in the garage here too.
Trying to work out, do you think that includes the Astley's penalty falling against Sonoda because you can get more points and therefore I'll leave with more points? Well,
yes,
just asking the question.
Possibly. I'll just go with the live standings as they are.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have put you on the spot there.
All I know is the track where Esteban Ocon once upon a time, his debut here, wasn't it all those years ago in 2017, in his full season for Marussia, was running in the points and almost produced a points finish.
Stuff that again.
Given Marussia a huge financial boost, and maybe it kept that team in Formula One at the time. But over the last 3 laps, he just lost out to the Sauber team at that time. Felipe Nasr, he was the one that got past him. Today, he's going to hold on for a podium here and give Alpine a huge financial boost before he heads to Haas for next season, the 75th World Championship season in the history of Formula One. Max Verstappen after today.
Yeah, F175. That's what we should call it. Like American Speed and MotoGP 75.
To start a new season as a 4-time world champion, and will hold off the threats of McLaren. This has been exactly what he would have wanted after the frustrations and the anger of qualifying.
Yeah.
He had to start.
It's maybe his last championship for a few years though. Next year, I think he'll win it.
Lawson not there for him. Lawson hangs on again.
Obviously,
Sergio Perez.
Lewis leaving. Big old Jonathan Wheatley leaving, and
That's been charged up to try and get past the Mercedes. He wants to go down the inside. There's no room there. He has to bail out of that before contact was made.
Yeah, he was hoping for a little window to open up on the inside there, but Lewis.
I wonder how much Max is about ahead of this quartet.
I will finish the race for the mechanics, but they did a very good job today. But my back is hurting, man. This bouncing is not normal.
Imagine how the drivers would have felt if this was a dry race today. And the speeds were that
would have been done by now.
This track's been resurfaced.
Or if it was a dry race, it probably would have been a half distance by now, and the start time would have still been the same. Unless
they need to be having words with whoever
the riding comes.
Because it's you can't put a new surface down. Having spent millions, it's not cheap to put down a new surface and end up with something that's bumpier than what you had the year before. If you had that sort of building work done on your house, you'd be asking for your money back.
Yeah.
Compared to the rest of the roads in Sao Paulo, it's like a billiard table, but you're going an awful lot faster on this track than you are elsewhere in Sao Paulo. And out in front, Max Verstappen continued to go that much faster. Now lapping in the low 121s, where everyone else is either mids or late in the case of Esteban Ocon 121s and some in the 122s as well. He is finding grip and he is finding pace in the wet and Interlagos once again, and he has looked absolutely unstoppable since he took the lead of this race.
Well, he's making a statement, isn't he? Another fastest lap, and his lead is now over 17 seconds, which is the same number as the position he started at. So that's a real statement drive. He doesn't need to win. You get the same points whether you win by 1 second or 18 as he is now. But this is a statement that he's trying to make.
Well, I said it a few laps ago. He's not finished within 19 seconds of the race winner since before the summer break. He might be 19 seconds or more ahead of the second place car by the end of this.
Yeah, but
he's now 18 seconds ahead. He's got a couple of laps to improve that.
And this, in some ways, Geoffrey, is the infuriating thing about those moments of road rage that we see in places like Mexico, is he's got more God-given talent to drive a race car on his little finger than most other drivers who've ever been on a Formula 1 grid.
Perez from a long way back on Lewis Hamilton. In the car that is leading the race, his teammate in the same car can't get into the points.
Yeah.
And let's face it, he has tried hard.
He has tried hard. He's going to keep trying as we go down the Retro Posto. And once again, Hamilton wise to it. And once again, those sparks coming off the bottom of that Mercedes as they head to the Cedar Lago. But yeah, just to finish my point, that's why it sort of drives you a bit mad when you see those moments from Max, which are on the edge of fairness. And you just think, You don't need to do that.
Max
You are
Verstappen.
an utterly brilliant racing driver, and that's the one that we want to see more often, and it's on full display for the world to see today.
And he is starting his final lap of this race. Shall I say he started it 4 corners ago. He's heading down towards Destino del Lago, turn 4, whilst his teammate Sergio Perez out of Vico de Pato, turn 10, behind the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton, behind the RB of Liam Lawson. Verstappen is going to come across Joe Granule and Fernando Alonso at this place on this final lap. It has been
a great drive, Max, to be fair, but again, Lando.
Of how to race in the wet.
You need to mature. Ready for next year, he will.
Going from 14th to 3rd.
If he's going to challenge for the title, he's got to be more mature than what he's been and don't do such a big bottle job. Same goes to McLaren.
17th on the grid.
Yeah, I do have next year as a big title fight. I do have Lewis does last Friday too.
Michael Schumacher for the most consecutive days leading a world championship. A day where Max Verstappen on the track has shown the world just how good he is. A day where Max Verstappen for the 2nd year running wins the Sao Paulo Grand Prix and wins it by an absolute distance. Max Verstappen home to take.
Verstappen wins.
Now the attention switches and the celebrations are already beginning to start on the pit wall and on the railings beside the side of the track, because here comes Esteban Ocon. It's not 1 podium, it's 2 for Alpine in Sao Paulo, and it's something like $50 million that they will get extra by moving into 6th place in the Constructors' Championship. These are scenes that Alpine barely dared to dream about before today's race. They say the rain is a great leveler, and boy,
so they got the Asprey.
Proved that. Russell, Leclerc, Norris, Tsunoda, Piastri, and Lawson in 9th. Hamilton comes home to take 10th place with Sergio Perez behind him in the championship. It has been brilliant for Alpine today.
Yeah, it has.
It has been disastrous for McLaren today as Piastri finishes
been a while.
Yuki
Since
Tsunoda.
Spain, he hasn't won.
Wow. It's been a long time.
I'll give him credit. I was some drive.
Worth the wait.
17th to 1st.
Ah, yes! What an unbelievable race, guys. You know what that is? Simply lovely.
Yeah, takes it back from Lando and Zandvoort.
And for the first time,
I gotta say,
since
fair
the
play to Max.
Spanish Grand Prix, Max
And fair play to the Alpine guys
can
too.
say that.
Their first double podium since the Lotus team in 2013. When Raikkonen and Grosjean were the team when Vettel was dominating the Red Bull.
Today, but it might yet get worse because Lando Norris will be investigated after the race.
That's something I still kind of don't agree with.
Lario 10 and P2.
Yeah, that's the present Ocon gives to Alpine before he jumps off to Haas next year.
We didn't think we were going to be there, right?
Funnily enough, no, I didn't think so, no. So well,
That's the present Ocon wanted to give to Alpine and just sit back. But yeah, I'll say it again. That's the present Esteban wanting to give Alpine. Maybe his last podium for the team.
Oliver Oaks, who's not been there very long.
No.
And he'll claim that he's made all
See what Max's celebration is.
There you go. He's got his feet
These are mad.
on the ground there. But this man,
there's Jude Bellingham.
Absolutely arms aloft, and he absolutely deserves to celebrate this in style with the team.
Yeah, no, this is a release and a relief for Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
Who has been on that run 10 races without the Grand Prix victory.
On-wheel drive. Anyway, guys, I'll end it here. Thanks all for watching. Max Verstappen wins the Brazilian Grand Prix and gets his first match point in Vegas in 3 weeks' time. There we go. Smash the like button. Subscribe if anyone is new. It's totally signed in. And tell the notification once there is any future videos or streams coming up. See you on the next one. See you then. Hope you all have an amazing day.
As I said, he didn't need to extend that lead so much. Didn't need to keep pushing to do those fast